I used to listen to it, and then I stopped for a long time. And like 2 years ago, like on YouTube, you started popping up everywhere. I'm like, oh, I'll start listening to him again.
Well, I think it was partly the guests and stuff that really I never listened to him, and Tony kept yelling at me like, you gotta listen to him, you gotta listen to him.
Well, it was your notion of him, I think, is what it was.
I don't even know if it was that.
Well, because I was like, do you ever listen to? I think I sent you something. I'm like, you listen to some Rogan. You're like, eh. You're like, I don't know. That dude just seems like he's full of himself. And I was like, just watch him.
Yeah, maybe. I bet that's what people think about us too.
Probably.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Oh. And on that note, here we go. I think we're rolling. Yeah, we're good. So I think it was, I don't know, maybe it was, but I think part of it too is, I don't know, like, I think we've had the discussion before. It's like a band. When people are like, oh, check out this band. You're like, you hear their songs, and you're like, these people don't know shit. Like, this band sucks.
It's got to turn you on at the right time.
Right. And then, like, a week later, you're like, well, I'll listen to it again. You're like, well, this one song's okay. Right. I like this one song. And then it's like, well, that song's cool, too. And then a month later, you're crying to the whole album in your bedroom. Like, this is so good.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm only half joking about that.
We know you're half
introductions.
Yeah. So, Chris Doohan.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. I am super excited. Obviously, we talked before that it has been a while. We've known each other for quite a while, but
yes,
I am so excited to have you with us today. I think this will be a good variety for our podcast as well, too. It won't be maybe as stuffy as some, maybe not quite as debaucherous as others, but
maybe more.
Hey, I'm down, right? Whatever.
No, thanks for inviting me. I like your show. It's fun. I really enjoyed. I think I listened to every episode or almost every episode.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
fanboy.
You don't have to get all excited about it. Please don't. Or it's not that cool.
No, it's super rad. I mean, stepping out and talking to people, it's very cool.
And it's weird. I talk to people now that I've seen years ago, and they're like, I heard you have a podcast. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you talk to people now? Yeah, but I think it goes back to when I was talking to Tony about having you on. I told him before that I would actively avoid people I knew in public. Like it wouldn't even be people like I disliked. It'd be like, yeah, I just don't feel like interacting with a person at this point in time. So like I just pretend like I never saw them. But I was like, Doohan, on the other hand, if I saw him in public, like that'd be like one of the few people I'd be like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. So that's, he was like, I feel like that's saying a lot. So
I feel honored, man. Yeah. I've seen you at work before. Like, hey.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. I have no idea exactly what we'll get into. We have both decided that we have no idea exactly what we're going to talk about, but I mean, I have some ideas. I have some ideas. This might be the one, Tony. I'm just saying, we've all back in the day when we used to hang out, we joke about Bigfoot and all the fun things.
Cryptozoology.
Yeah. You never know.
Bro,
You never know.
I admitted that to you the other day that when I was a kid, I used to have all the cryptozoology books and used to read about all those creatures.
That is the best. I did as well.
See?
Go to the library, get like one reading book and like a bunch of Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster crap. Just flip through the pages.
There's a lot of water out there.
There's a ton of water.
I think that's a big thing. If something's weird that we don't know about,
it's going to be aquatic.
There's a good probability that it's aquatic.
For sure.
I was just listening to excuse me. One the other day they were talking about what was it? It was some kind of special fish or something that a certain culture gets for the air bladder inside of it, and they think it's special or something like that, and rich people will buy that for like clout. And then they use it to, I don't know if they eat it or make a tea out of it or something like that, but like it'll cost like $100,000, $200,000. Like, so instead of buying a Ferrari, they're like, yeah, I got this air bladder from this fish.
Fish bladder.
Yeah, you want to check it out? Like, it's like 1,000-year-old whiskey.
You think it gets them laid?
I don't know.
Hey, babe, you want some fish?
Yeah, you want some fish air bladder? What's up? I got you covered. Yeah, I don't know, but they said there was like only like 20 of them left.
20 fish?
Yeah, they're like in the wild. But
Yeah, that was that.
Yeah.
Porpoise looking thing.
Yeah, I didn't look it up, but that was.
Yeah, it looks it's like a porpoise is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean it's got a different name. Was it in the Amazon or something like that, or?
I want to say it was like, I don't know. It might have been Amazon or off of like Eastern Asia.
I got you.
There. But then they said like, oh, there's only 20 of them left in the wild. Well, how do you know that there's only 20 of this certain fish left in the ocean?
They sent out the fish census, bro.
Yeah, but like,
That's all they got back.
I can understand when they're like, hey, we got this, block of woods in Idaho, and we only have, 50 white-tailed deer left in this area. Okay, their guesstimation's probably close.
Like, how do you patrol a body of water like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't.
Aquaman, bro.
Aquaman, is that?
He's on the payroll.
He just comes up every once in a while and checks in. Yep, still there's 20.
Can I do this?
Yeah, move it all around. Right. You do it. Fluctuates. Yeah, you're good, man.
All right, let me hit you with this question right off the rip.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I had a patient the other day, and he had a vasectomy done, and it went south.
Ooh.
And that resulted in him losing a testicle.
Oh no.
So I had this conversation.
But did he really need them anymore though?
Oh, you do need testicles
you?
to produce testosterone.
we could talk. Oh,
Yeah,
I guess
kind of a big deal.
Thing's
Kind of a big deal there.
Yeah, no, I got
So
you.
you can do it with one, but it's going to be slightly diminished.
50%, as it were.
I don't think it's quite. I don't think
It's working overtime.
It's not a 4-cylinder now to a 2-cylinder. I don't think
Okay.
it's quite like that. Maybe a 3-cylinder.
It's like
at this point.
it's just misfired on the mud. I got you.
So the conversation I had with my coworker was how much to voluntarily lose a testicle. His number was $500,000. I was like, you must have golden balls, bro. $500,000 for a nut. My number, probably still high, 200,000. Because I figured I could take the 200,000, I can invest it, I can do some cool things with it. And I mean I'll just take exogenous testosterone. Not
That's
a big
true,
deal.
too.
Not a big deal. And then I could get it. I threw it out there. I said you could get a nudicle. So it's a.
So you just still.
Yeah, it's one of those implant. Well, a nudicle is actually an implant, a testicle implant for like a pet. So they're for animals. But I know.
way.
Yeah, I know they make them for humans
Yeah,
too.
it's gonna be the same.
So 200,000 was my number.
Oh.
Let me hear your numbers, boys.
I guess it depends on the what's going on.
How much money I need?
Exactly.
Right now, today, you're gonna lose a nut today. How much money?
Well, I could be on board with 200,000.
200 your
Yeah,
number?
I think so.
Yeah, I was
like without
thinking-
thinking twice about it, I'd be like, yeah, all right, 200, you got it.
I'm still processing my answer. Pull it a little closer. There you go.
Thanks, Fred.
I'm just trying to help out. It saves a lot of time in the audio down the road. That way, when someone like you is listening to you, they'd be like, why does he sound so quiet? And they turn you up.
Can I just put my lips right on there like
You
pop
can.
singers?
You can if you want to. I was totally on board 500.
Yeah.
I totally do it for that.
For $500,000?
For $500,000, I would totally do it for that.
Dude,
You think pretty high of yourself.
No, I'm not.
you're
I'm
just
just
losing a ball, bro.
Let me walk it down. Well, I'm following the story as you told it.
Sure.
So the story as you told, I was when you said 500,000, I was like, ooh, like really? And I'm like, well, no, yeah, I could see 500, 200. It's close. It's definitely close. I don't like. Oh man, I'd probably do it.
Quarter of a mil? Is that your number? 250?
I feel a little bit better about 250.
Okay, I figured as much.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better about 250. But yeah, I'd probably do it for 200.
That's still a chunk of change. You know,
yeah,
like,
it's a big chunk of change.
yeah.
That could. I mean, that's
for a nut. It's not. It's a pretty good deal.
yeah. And then, yeah. I mean, because I'll be honest. I mean, what am I doing with them? I don't know. Like, they just get in the way most of the time.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm not planning on having any more kids. So I feel I would probably, if someone was serious about it, I don't know why they'd want my nut for $200,000, but I'd give it to them, I guess. As long as it's not like, I don't have to like go to Mexico or something like
Yeah,
that. Do
no,
I?
it's sterile procedure. We're in stateside. Don't worry about it.
There's some rich billionaire who's got like a jar of them, like on a shelf
Yeah.
somewhere,
Or like they,
like a
or
movie
they-
star, just
yeah,
collecting
they're like,
them.
Yeah,
Like, I got this from a 37-year-old male in Ohio.
I will take your fish air bladder and raise you a 37-year-old male from Ohio
that's-
testicle.
Trump card.
Yeah, what's up? No, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
What about like an actual like appendage?
Oh, so we were talking about this on what
That's tough.
insurance companies advise. Like, I think a finger. I thought
Yeah,
a finger was
insurance
like.
companies are all crooked.
No. I'm just saying. I think a finger was like 50,000.
It depends on what finger.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it was a thumb
That's rough.
or your middle finger, if you can't flip people off again,
Yeah.
come on.
That's not really
I'm
my
just-
that's not really my forte. But I agree. Some people like doing that.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, so if you're not flipping people off,
I'm still doing a lot of things. With it.
what, are you throwing the jack inside, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I just ignore them. Like, well,
You give them the thumbs
I
up.
give the thumbs up.
Yeah,
Hi, thanks. Usually that was always my go-to.
yeah.
When someone really pissed me off, I'd be like, "Thank you. Have a great day."
Kill them with kindness.
Yeah, but it's not. It's no like I'm totally like you. I lay like because I'm pretty good at sarcasm. I lay the sarcasm on as thick as I can. I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Have a great day." And then it just like you can just see like they're because they want to see you get pissed off,
Right.
and they just see your blood boiling.
Any middle fingers coming from you, or is it a thumbs up? Or
You know,
what?
I mean, I guess it was a pinky finger or a ring finger, perhaps, but I don't know.
Yeah, pinky. I could get rid of a pinky.
Yeah, like
finger.
you, like
probably still.
you can still
Yeah.
do stuff.
Yeah, I at least need these
Yeah.
fingers right here.
I mean, fancy people do this all the time. So as
Yeah.
long as I can lift a glass, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm not fancy as it is, so I don't need the pinky. Like,
Yeah. And there's straws. Well, there were straws.
Yeah.
But
well, some people carry their own straws around.
this is true. We have some fancy straws.
Yeah, and I don't think
Reusable.
you say that, and I don't think that's such a bad thing.
It's not.
What?
You should turn your phone off for one. I should.
Carrying your own straws around?
Yeah, out of all of the,
Get your wallet, your keys, your straw.
I
Flush.
guess out of all of the, I'll just put it this way, and I'm totally joking, kind of when I say this, but out of all the stereotypical California dickish liberal things to do, carrying around your own straw, I can appreciate that.
Right.
Like we have enough garbage floating in the
Is that what
seas.
people do in L.A.?
Well, yeah, not just all California, because because
That's all of California's LA.
right.
L.A.
There's no redwoods. There's none of that. There's no forest, no mountains. Yeah.
You get rid of like napkins too if everyone like became old-fashioned men and carried a hanky in their back pocket.
Ooh, bring it
true.
back to
I think
hanky.
I think
I
that
have
is
a-
a great idea.
I got a stack of hankies
As do
that
I.
I bought that I tie for mass.
Oh, I thought you were gonna like around your neck.
No.
Man, my grandpa would do the hanky, and
Yeah.
he would like if we had a cold or we were sneezing, he would give it to us, and I'm like, man, it's kind of weird blowing your nose in someone else's hanky.
Yeah, that's
It
gross.
is, but I used to work with this old time farmer, and he always had a hanky in his
Yeah.
back pocket, one in, like half a dozen in his truck, and like he's always like wiping his nose, and you'd put it in there, it'd be all
Yeah. Well, I guess, but this.
perfect. And you wash it and you reuse it again.
Yeah. Like, what's worse, wiping it on your sleeve? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
where else you or on your hands?
I mean, just rock
think
it
it's way
out, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, but sometimes
Just
you,
rocking
yeah,
it.
but sometimes I think I mean, especially you got a beard. Telling me you make solid, clean rockets every single time.
No, they get caught in the beard.
60% of the time, all the time. I do.
yeah, you're not getting clean rockets out of that nose all the time.
Oh, the beard, man, it is. I mean,
catches
yeah,
stuff,
you're
yeah.
trying to eat like even a burger with cheese. You're like, come on.
Right.
It's just like this thing gets shampooed like twice a day. It's like a full-time job.
It is. It's worse than like hair on your head.
Yeah.
You know.
It gets showered more than the rest of my body does.
Nah,
For sure.
no, come on. I'm not that dirty. Jeez.
I think if I could, I started growing usually like every November ish, October. I'll start growing one just to like see how long it lasts. But then it gets long and I start getting shit caught in it. I'm like,
That's when you know it's the right length.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. But I think too, if I had a beard that looked like a fantastic beard, like it was nice and full like your guys's, I would.
Well, I appreciate that sentiment because there's a lot of people that grow beards that are just like scraggle beard, and they have these real long scraggle beards. It's like
It's
patchy
so
here
gross.
and like super long here. And they're like, I'm doing it. I'm like,
No, yeah, you're doing something. Yeah. Like even mine, like I can grow a beard that's okay. Like I grew a beard, but like even like it comes up nice and high. You know, I mean, we can't all be Sasquatch over here.
that is an impressive mane, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but it's if I could grow a really nice one, I would consider a little more.
But you gotta have it on your face long enough to know you can grow a good one.
Yeah, I did. I grew.
You know what I mean? Like I remember you had a beard,
Yeah,
but like if you want a big long one, you just gotta like be in it for the long game.
you do.
Yeah.
But I guess
And
you have
most
to-
people are like, it's itchy, it's coming off. I'm like, yeah, it gets itchy.
Yeah, there's a phase. It
called
stops.
I call those people quitters. I'm not friends with them.
Failures. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, it gets past the itchy phase, but you gotta comb it and oil it,
Yeah.
and I did all that, but it just doesn't like. It's not as because the longer it gets, if you don't have that full beard, the worse it looks.
Right.
I think, and you get that weird guy that's like,
It looks like this.
no, it's like Uncle Tom, you gotta go shave your beard off now because you look like a homeless man. Like it's not cool. You look homeless.
No,
Yep.
it is. It's hipsters are homeless, right? Isn't that the game you're supposed to play down?
No, they're trying to block. We shouldn't even get that. Did you see the most recent one, the Raz?
Oh, I think you were saying they created a new city.
Or no,
Or new-
it was like a house. It's like remember Chaz?
It's
and
it's
the
a new
Chap
autonomous zone. Is that what it is?
Well, it was like they call it the Raz. I think it's in Portland again.
What's up with the names?
Well, it's the Red House Autonomous Zone. So what it was I didn't dig too deep into it because I didn't want to get frustrated. But you heard about the Chaz, right? But in Portland, when they like blocked off, like it was a couple city blocks.
yeah.
Well, now they set up around this house. From what I saw, I don't know if this is entirely true. So, I mean, we could fact check it, but I don't feel like getting into it that much. But
Googling's hard.
yeah, there's too many details to worry about. We've been down that political road before. I don't, but like, from what I heard, it was somebody that didn't pay their bill and they were basically going to like foreclose on them or something like that. So, but they were like delinquent for a long time.
Like pre-COVID delinquent.
Yeah. And so, like, it was just a bunch of hippies that set up around this house and tried to stop like people getting like because it wasn't even I don't even think it wasn't like someone
Where's
that
it
was in
at?
distress. I think it was around Portland somewhere.
Again.
Yeah, it was in the
No,
Oregon
no.
area.
Yeah, it was Seattle,
Seattle.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seattle was the Chaz.
Oh, Seattle.
So yeah,
well, Portland
this
was
one's in Portland.
Chop, right? Wasn't Chop around in Oregon?
How many damn
Chop
autonomous
zone?
zones are there?
I don't know. They never end well. though.
There's not enough of them, is what it sounds like.
I don't think they ever end well though.
I you got to applaud the hippie for, putting a stop to things.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of. Being silly.
I was waiting to see where that was going.
I wasn't sure I was going with it. I just.
That's all right. We can skip right on past that. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it does. It makes you question. Just, I've never questioned the human race and civilization as much as I have this year ever. It's been an interesting ride for sure.
Yeah, but you're only what 35, 34?
Yeah, but and I just started questioning it like 5 months ago.
I think maybe the question is our specific society, maybe not a world human society.
Yeah. Well, I think in general, I think it's all curious.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
you look
for
at-
sure.
You look at all these, because I've known people from different countries. I've never been to somewhere else. I feel like I have been at times, some places, but like there's cultures and different things. It's so like, what is that gets ingrained into people, and how do those form, and like all the ideologies and whatnot. Like I just don't. It's scary sometimes the ideas people have. It's like where'd you come up with that? Like oh well, like that's
That's
what we believe. Like
I would imagine it was someone else's idea and they didn't do their own research.
yeah. So wait, you're telling me that a spaghetti monster is not a real thing? is that a Scientology thing? The spaghetti monster?
I have
What is that?
no idea.
I remember it was something somebody. it was one of those hippies. They went in to get like their license or something like that, and they wore like a colander on their head, and it said it was like part of their religion, and like their god was like a spaghetti monster or something like that. God. And they let him do it because it was like, well, I don't know, maybe it is his religion. I don't know. Scientology is apparently taken off.
That sounds like some good meth, is what that sounds like.
I would agree with that.
I've never tried it, but if it's that good,
Yeah.
it might be worth looking into.
What in
That's
the?
sweet, sweet meth.
I think that's one of the few that, you know what, I would. I'm curious about a lot of things, but
Meth is not one of them.
no.
Dude, so in the jail, I see that. I mean, it's very, very prevalent. You look over in kind of Richland, there's a little bit more of the heroin, the fentanyl.
Right.
Over here, there seems to be there's no shortage of heroin, but there seems to be just as much or more meth, and it's crazy to see how much damage meth does. Because I'll see the patients and I'll see like a picture of their mugshot from like 3 months ago, or I'll see like 6 months ago, or I'll see last year, and how quickly it progresses is insane.
Well, isn't it just a bunch of like bleach and stuff that they cook up, you're smoking stuff that,
Oh yeah,
Household cleaners.
yeah, like
I mean, all my meth knowledge comes from that AMC show with the
what's-
guy from Malcolm in the Middle.
what shows that? I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's famous. It's popular.
It's
I can't think of what it's called.
I don't think I know that one either.
yeah, I don't know if
I thought you were
remember
going to
that
say
one.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's about my extent, my meth knowledge as well. Yeah, that's wild. Who
Well,
does-
dude, that's cocaine too. I mean, with the gasoline, and I mean they
yeah,
use
some of the ways they separate it
Yeah,
and
yeah,
cook it
yeah.
and whatnot. Not that I know. Just
Drugs are bad, okay?
they are. Some drugs are really bad. No, I wouldn't say all drugs are bad.
I think wow, that dude, now you have to define what a drug is too.
Right.
Now we're going
Well, that's
down
the
there.
hard
Like,
part.
wait,
What's
yeah.
a drug?
It's all drugs.
Caffeine. That's
Alcohol.
a drug, right? Alcohol. Tylenol.
Mm-hmm.
Take enough water. That'll kill you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess more-
Perhaps anything addictive could be considered a drug.
maybe.
I mean, because
I don't know.
I don't know either. Because I mean, in medicine they call them drugs too. So and a lot of those aren't addictive.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
But I mean,
I'm stuck.
yeah, I guess that you can lower that thing or
The
raise it
chair?
or whatever you want. Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh, lowrider.
Yeah, I mean, but whatever you can alter your mind with, right? Some people get their mind altered with.
Yeah, or maybe even alter something with. You know what I mean? Even like blood pressure or insulin, or
That's true too.
you're ingesting something that changes something.
So that's interesting. It's the definition of the words that we use that we're all subscribing to. I think about that often. Maybe I think about it more than I should. I don't know.
The English language is quite unusual and open for interpretation.
Yeah, I guess the more I learn, I don't know a whole lot. I knew a little bit of German and Spanish, but I've heard people talk about. I think the only thing I've ever heard that's more difficult, well, not difficult in English, but like different, is Russian. I've heard like Russian is like impossible. I was listening to, it was Terry Virts. He was an astronaut. This is the same guy I was talking to.
Yeah.
I listened to. He was an astronaut that was in the space station for. He went up for like 2 weeks, and then he ended up going up for like 200 and some days. His second trip. Yeah, can you imagine being in a space for? Well, you know, they say he went to space.
Oh my god! I was literally waiting.
The
for
moon
this.
landing
literally
was a
waiting for
lie.
Yeah, he went in front of the green screen for 200 days.
Could you imagine floating around for 200 days?
And being like,
Like when you come back down, you're like, oh, legs. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have to
Yeah.
wait.
yeah, well, and he talked about that too. Like, and being in orbit's different than being in outer space. Like, and it's super interesting as well. But he was talking about how he knows Russian because they work with the Russians and you know the people up in the space station. He's just like, if you weren't born in Russia, they will always know that you're not Russian by the way you speak the language.
Really?
It's that difficult the way they use certain words and their accents.
Even what if you lived over there for like a decade? No.
He said they know.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it like a dialect kind of a thing?
I don't. It's just the way. I guess he said the way they form the words and the certain way they use the words and their accent. Like I guess like I think what he was saying like sometimes their accent on certain words like changes the word.
I mean, how could you ever like insert a spy over there then?
Right.
Maybe that's why Russia. I can't even say what the hell happened. Maybe that's why Trump lost because they couldn't get spies over there. They couldn't get Putin to get Trump to win the election again.
Jesus.
Oh, you don't think that's legit?
It's totally legit. We'll find this out in like 16 years.
It'll be some release that they'll give.
It'll be redacted government papers. And Fred will be like, I was right. And this is forever because it's recorded and on the internet. And you can like,
Yeah,
I said it.
or I'll be arrested tomorrow
yeah.
because they're like, "Oh, how's this guy know?"
Black helicopters will appear over your house.
Men in Black. No, you don't think
Agent Jones or whatever from The Matrix will show up regularly.
Oh, was it no? Is it Jones?
I don't know. I can't remember. Johnson, perhaps?
What was his
Is there
name?
a Smith?
That's it.
Smith.
Nailed it.
Agent Smith. Mr. Anderson. Yeah, that was a fantastic
It
movie.
was.
Do you think that's real?
Sure.
Not the movie. Obviously, the movie's real.
The movie's definitely real. I've seen it
I've seen it
multiple times
I own it. All three of them.
on VHS.
Yeah, I got the. I think I got the DVDs. I think that was after VHSs were done for, right?
It was the first one I had on VHS for sure. We listened to the Rage Against the Machine song at the end. No Shelter.
Oh yeah.
I think that's No Shelter. I don't remember.
It's a great
It's a
movies.
great movie. Great song.
Maybe that's why my brain is the way it is because I watched The Matrix when I was a younger man over and over and over again.
Is that why it's the way it is?
I think that's a fine excuse.
That's my and I'm sticking to it. You son of a bitch.
Keanu!
So what? I mean, if you thought we were, let's play this out. Let's explore it. So if you think we're in a
We're
simulation,
finally gonna do it.
let's just do
We're
it.
finally
Let's
gonna
do
do
it.
it?
Well, this. I mean, we're not talking about aliens yet. So, but
I
if you,
can tie them together.
yeah, I bet you can. So if we were in a simulation, what? Talk about it.
I don't think it would matter. I don't think you'd know. That's the beauty of it.
I agree with that.
Well, I guess okay. So even outside of that, I don't even mean if it matters. Like why?
Right. Okay.
Is-
So
is-
that's
is-
interesting.
yeah.
So for people that, and I know we joke about aliens and all these
True.
things very, very briefly. I think almost every single episode, since we're on the simulation thing, for people that think that that's a most absolutely ridiculous thing, and people that think we're in the simulation are bonkers.
Sure.
The theory behind that is actually, I find, kind of believable. So I heard it explained really well. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it might have been like a Lex Friedman podcast or something like that, which he's a super interesting dude too. It's hard to listen to him because he's like,
He sounds like a drone.
yeah, well, he's this incredibly smart, like Ukrainian or Russian guy.
Bueller.
Yeah, and he's just so smart. He doesn't have like emotions. Like, but the one guy explained it really well. He said his three possibilities that he thought for the simulation theory was that either one, this is the first and real world and we're living it.
Okay.
We're just living, just like everybody thinks. Or we have not progressed as a society enough with our technology to create a simulation yet. Or every single time we progress, which that's really interesting too. Every single time we progress to that point, something happens where we get wiped out. So there is no simulation. Or technology, and when you look at our history in the last 100 years, how advanced we've become so quickly, like exponentially, really, that the idea of the simulation, now people look at technology and go, oh, maybe. Because what are you going to do as a society that has the technological power to form a simulation? And they go, well, this would be a good idea to run a simulation to see the possibilities. We're going to run tons. We're not going to just run. We're going to run a ton of simulations just to see the possibilities of what we could face in the future, so we can proactively look at that and try to basically fix ourselves before we, blow each other up with nuclear bombs.
So like the way we're handling the pandemic and all this stuff.
Right,
Like,
so it's
hey,
like-
here's what not to do.
Right. So almost as like it's not like some crazy thing where we want to play God, which I'm sure some people would, but it's more, we want to create this realistic simulation and that's what, computers do that on a day-to-day basis all the time. Like we run simulations constantly. I mean, look at all the algorithms that Google and Facebook and all those things have. Those are, basically products of simulations and seeing people buy things and do things, so they track them and then create this algorithm. So it's either we could be living in a simulation.
Well, who put us in the simulation? Do we self,
Yeah,
or
we
or
self-simulate
did the
it.
government say, or whoever was like, okay, are going to react. We're going to put these stressors or whatever on them. Is that what you're saying, or?
Yeah, I think it could be either. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like maybe it's just an autonomous simulation. So if you look at that last from a research standpoint, where they go, all right, we're going to create 1,000 simulations, and here we go, and just to see what happens. Maybe it's from the beginning of time, just to see how things progress. Because think about it, if you could run a computer simulation to see, all right, well, we have this planet with this amount of water and this amount of hydrogen or carbon and all these different products in the air. Think about space travel. Elon's talking about going to Mars. Well, if we think we could eventually have the technological capability of going to other planets and living there, okay, well, let's run a simulation for that and see how we could survive and how life could survive there and all the different materials. So then all these different survival simulations or whatever it is.
So when you said who's doing the simulation and you said, is it us? The us that we think of, is it us or is it not really us? Is it something that looks like us but has like a functioning capacity that's able to form a simulation, which would not be us?
Well, I if we inject ourselves, like you or I, into a situation, or I can't even think of the word simulation, like without knowing, not meaning to, but like that's what I was thinking.
Oh, you think like almost like a I have never watched the movie, but I feel like it's like what was the movie where they plugged in?
Avatar. Is that what you're thinking about?
I don't know if I ever watched it. Like is it not Surrogate? Wasn't there a movie with Bruce Willis where they would plug into VR like every day and they would live their lives in a VR world?
Oh, I got you. So is that like you think there's a you and there's
like
a
a
me?
Matrix?
No. Like in our society, all the things going on, like, and maybe I'm thinking this incorrectly, but like we self-inject, like our physical person, spiritual, whatever, into a simulation without necessarily doing it on purpose.
Without doing it on purpose?
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary. How would we do it without doing it on purpose? That's
I don't
scary.
know. It is super
Now you're blowing
scary.
my mind.
Yeah. So like, like everyday things happen, like, and we have to react. We don't always react the way you think you're going to react or how you're going to react. Because like you take the movie The Matrix, the idea is like some giant computer is feeding off of or doing something with physical human bodies.
Right. I think that's kind of silly.
Right, but like I think the simulation can be completely, a whole different idea. Like it could be like the Illuminati or the government or whatever. But I think it could be self-imposed without, why not?
I think if we were in a simulation, this is the thought that I think of most that would happen, is that we've advanced enough technologically, or maybe we are some kind of weird alien or something like that that lives for a long, long time. Either it could be one or the other ways. We live for so long that we've got stuff figured out, and life's kind of boring. So we're like, you know what? VR. Right. We're just plugging in. And so, but it's like the parameters are set to where the simulation only runs so long. You get maybe 80 years, maybe you get 100, maybe you only get 40. And it's just like it's like a game. Or like, or the time is sped up. Like they say, like there's things we've talked, I don't think we've never talked about it on air. But the Mr. Ayahuasca over there is it may remind me like, they say people when they go on like a DMT trip,
Yeah.
they feel like they're gone for hours,
And it's 5 minutes.
but it's only 5 minutes. So maybe.
And they always meet the same kind of deity too.
That's a whole different topic right there. But like maybe that's if it is a simulation, quote unquote, like maybe that's what it is, where it's just like, you know what, we're bored. Like we get home from work, I'm gonna play a video game tonight. Plug in, you live as a human life for 85 years, but it was really only 3 hours in real time, and you get unplugged and you're like, well, shit, that was fun. Let's go back and do the Stone Age again. That'd be cool. Like, I don't know. Like, theoretically, if the simulation's possible, then that would be possible. But I think the interesting point is that we're gonna do it. I mean, Elon's already talking about AI and the Neuralink and being able to plug actual technology into your brain to like fix people's eyesight and fix people's
It's like an episode of Futurama come to life, where like they would have like ancient presidents and robot bodies in a head. You know what I mean?
You mean Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Sorry. But I think that's where a lot of people get lost. They're like, "Oh, you're crazy simulation." Well, I mean, we're going that way. We're not that far off from it right now. What do people look at? What do kids? What's always the bitch and moan about people with parents a lot?
They just don't understand.
Well, that and their kids are sitting there playing video games all day. That's all you do is you come home, you sit in front of that TV. You don't think if they could sit down and plug into was it Ready Player 2?
Right.
Is that the one where they plug in like
Yeah.
virtually? Like, you don't think if we had the technology to do that people wouldn't be? I mean, VR. I have a VR headset. It's sweet. I mean, I look absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? But you're telling me if people didn't have a way to just like plug in?
That's the same. Like, I remember being a little kid and VR came out, and it was like, cubes, and it was like this, and you could see your hands, and it was like either like black and white or red and black or something, and the headset was identical. It hasn't come that far.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, have you done VR recently?
No.
It's pretty. I mean, it's not like. It's enough to trick your mind into going, oh, like every once in a while, we're like, if you like look over a ledge or something like that, you get that instinct of, oh,
Really?
yeah, it's pretty impressive. I mean,
Interesting.
yeah, I think I think if there was more like funding and stuff behind it, it could be a lot better. I think our technology is a lot better than what it is, but I think there's just not enough support for
We
it.
just don't have it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there is, like, if you put a headset on, like, if you've never done it before, or if like you throw a headset on like your parents, freak them out. Like, just freak them out. Like, I remember the first time my daughter tried it, like she almost fell over because she was like standing in, like, I think it was where you stand like a shark cage, and like you can 360 up and down all over, and like it's crazy how fast your brain, succumbs to the inputs that it's receiving. And this shark came at her, and she like freaked out and literally almost fell on the ground. Like, it's like, yeah, like. So you're telling me if you could plug in, people wouldn't be doing that?
Are they doing some of that stuff for like PTSD in the military with the VR stuff?
Oh yeah, that's right. I've heard about that too.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. It's weird the tricks that, not the tricks, but like the way you can really interface with the brain.
Yeah.
Because have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Like, if they say it works, yeah, that's spring on here.
They say psychedelics work too for
Yeah, I was gonna say,
PTSD,
I know they're-
ADHD and any of that.
like,
Yeah. I know they've been using the ketamine.
yeah,
in
that's
the
right. The
military,
ketamine,
so
yeah. I guess they've been using ibogaine has been more of a
addiction.
like an addiction type.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did like, magic mushrooms, whatever that's called, for
Psilocybin.
yeah,
Psilocybin,
psilocybin. And I was reading something about in London they were doing it on people that had like major depression,
Yeah,
anxiety
they
issues.
said it was like 4 times more effective than selective serotonin
Right.
real
But, like-
inhibitors.
like back in the day, like post World War II, they used to do it, and then they canned it like before the 60s.
Yeah, well, they were using like LSD and like acid and stuff. It's like maybe you were going down the wrong path with
yeah.
that. Like
I
maybe
mean,
let's.
maybe not. Maybe they just
May-
didn't
yeah.
figure out the dosages.
Maybe.
Right.
that's
And
true, too.
you had to have like a doctor or a shaman.
Yeah, let's have a trained professional.
Yeah, your dude back here.
Well, I think with the ibogaine, there's you can have cardiac problems.
Well, yeah.
So that was
that's no bueno.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, that's not good.
one of the things where they had a physician present. I think when they do the addiction clinics.
Yeah, that's all bad. You got to be careful. I guess you have to understand what your body's doing.
Yeah.
That'd be that would suck. Went in for depression, came out dead.
Oh, permanently tripping
Yeah,
balls.
that's all bad. All bad.
That's funny.
So, I mean, what do you think we're in a simulation or some sort of weird thing where we're not who we think we are?
I don't really have a great answer to that. I mean, I just don't have a great answer to that. I mean, I would say no, but I mean, if you were in a simulation, I feel like you would just say no. Like you wouldn't know if they were that great at forming a simulation. And I guess, Mike, so do you think there's a you on the outside of the simulation? Like there's a Fred that's, maybe it doesn't look like you, or, maybe
that's one of the theories.
the intellect is superior to.
Don't you think you'd be
right
a
now?
lot happier and like enjoying life way more if you were in a simulation? Or
You
is
think
it,
so, but that's the
is it
idea.
terrible on purpose?
Well, that,
Wait, on what? Like, as in the simulation is like, man, this simulation's so shitty. I'm going to appreciate
wait.
my life not
Yes,
in the simulation.
exactly.
Okay. Let's introduce COVID.
I was gonna say, does your wife listen to this podcast? You might want to clarify that real quick.
I'm not talking about
qualifiers
Katie.
I think that's one of the theories, right? Is you could be, maybe it is, or maybe it's just we're just some computer program,
Right.
Because if like I've heard people talk about too, where and this is I wish I remember the guy's name now, but he was some kind of relative something or like just he was one of those dudes where I listened to him talk for an hour, and I really understood like maybe 10 minutes of it. Because it was like, this dude is way beyond my level of comprehension. But he was discussing the reality and how we see reality, and it's not what we think it is.
Sure.
It's kind of like going back to like quantum mechanics and quantum physics, where it's things sometimes only exist because you're looking at them. You know what I mean? And yeah, the Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
You put a cat in a box with some radioactivity, or you put a cat in a box with something that has a 50% chance of killing it.
Yeah.
Is it dead or is it live? You don't know until you open the box. But did you kill it by opening the box and witnessing its death? I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's like a quantum physics thing where they actually say like there's things that can exist in one place,
But don't in another.
yeah, or don't in another, or they exist in both places in different states. Like, I don't know. My brain doesn't. I can't. But it could be. You could be in a simulation, or it's just a random computer simulation. I don't know.
So if it is a random computer simulation, is there someone running it, or is there someone that created it?
Maybe it was AI.
Maybe it's Elon Musk.
Maybe.
And he's been alive
he's-
for a long time.
Yeah, and he's just fucking with us.
Maybe.
That's the biggest thing with him. Like when you hear him talk like about some of his technologies, it's like this dude's afraid of his own inventions. Something's wrong with this guy. I don't know. Like,
Dude, he's got some interesting things to say.
yeah. Well, did you see they tested out that have you heard about the Neuralink that they're doing?
Yeah.
Well, they tested out like on the pigs. They just did a test, and like he says, like, yeah, well, I think this will be up and running in like 5 years. Like putting it into people's brains, and the idea is great because it's pitched as like, hey, if you lost your sight, and there's the capability, like, if it's a brain problem, we can fix that, or if you have some kind of, brain issue that's fixable, theoretically with the neurons and electrotransmitters and all that, whatever he's talking about. Like they could put a chip in your brain and fix you.
Wasn't that like that movie I told you about and you watched?
Was that not? Oh,
The one where the dude gets paralyzed and they end up like putting the artificial intelligence in his brain and he can walk again.
I don't think I didn't watch that one.
Nah, you did because you were like, it was okay.
Oh yeah.
But then it ended up
what movie was that?
I can't think of what it's called, but it like took over then.
Yeah, it ended up like basically taking over, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, you're like, what movie is that?"
Look it up.
That's gonna
Jamie
bug
it.
me. Yeah, that's gonna bug me. Because that was the precipice of it was kind of cool, but it just wasn't played out very well. But I did watch. Have you ever watched Ex Machina, or however it's pronounced, Ex Machina or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
It talks about AI and basically AI developing enough skills to
Ta-
not necessarily like take over, but fool humans.
Got you.
Did you said you? Have
Yeah,
you
I've
watched
seen
it
that
recently?
movie. Yeah,
I just.
it's been a couple years, but that's a good movie. It's kind of like that Harrison Ford movie where he has to like track down
The Blade Runner?
Yeah, where they think they can be their own.
Yeah.
That's a cool movie though.
Oh, dude, that's not what I wanted. It's a house.
I've never seen that, Fred.
I mean, that's not what I wanted.
I think it's
That's
one,
what
I think
Fred's
it's one
watching.
word. Whatever it is, I think it's one word.
I bet it's got to be in this one.
The dude kind of looks like Tom Hardy, but it's not Tom Hardy.
Yeah, but that, and then I watched the Lucy. Did I tell you I watched that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was interesting too.
Is that
yeah.
about a spy or something?
That was
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
yeah. So that was when they had like a drug
Yeah.
that basically was
Unlocks your brain.
yeah. It was kind of like the Limitless, but like twisted.
Yeah.
Kind of, where it like basically like destroys you from the inside out because you.
I mean, did it
become-
destroy
Well,
you?
I guess
though?
it didn't destroy
Yeah.
her. She like turned into some kind of weird. Ex Machina is the first one. That movie was. I don't know. It wasn't as good as I was hoping.
Yeah.
Ex Machina, but it was the idea behind it was really super interesting. That wasn't it.
Transcendence.
I'm trying to remember which. Man, where is it? I can't remember what that movie's called.
Was it Wally?
No. Oh, Wally.
Wally.
That's not. I can't find it.
The movie Her was a kind of a unusual film. He falls in love with a computer or whatever.
Oh, that sounds creepy.
Yeah.
Well, that same thing happened in Ex Machina.
Right.
Basically, the dude ended up falling in love with the AI, and she just used him to get out of prison. Just like, you son of a, and locks him in there. Like, how sucky is that? That'd be rough. I can't believe it's not on here. Probably because the movie sucked. That's probably why I can't find it.
I didn't think it sucked that bad.
It
though.
didn't suck. It was just, you could tell it wasn't. It didn't have the budget that really awesome movies have typically.
If it's too smart, they don't get the attention they deserve.
Yeah, well, some of those movies like were like they win all the awards and stuff, and then you watch it like, this is a piece of crap. Why do it win all these awards? Like, this movie sucks. Like,
It's called Upgrade.
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 Have you seen that TV show Upload on Amazon Prime where the dude dies, but he's stuck in AI
No.
and he's trying to. I've only watched a couple of it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of the same principle. Like they have like programmers that program his life, and if you pay so much money, you get to have luxury or regular. Kind of a cool idea. Yeah, it's kind of silly, but
It seems like
I
a
like
mix
it.
between like AI and like the Truman Show.
it's very similar to that. Yeah.
There's one show.
Upload. There it is.
Yeah. There's one. What show is it? It's a newer one where they Altered Carbon. Have you ever watched that?
Altered. That sounds super familiar.
Where
Yes.
they essentially like they discover the technology. I'll take one of those beers down there. They basically discover technology where they can upload your conscience. Elon Musk, dealer's choice. But they are able. They live like thousands of years in the future, but they're like battling.
Can I have one of those beers? I don't have a preference. Sweet. Thank you.
But they're like battling. Like the real humans are battling all these like the elites that have the money to like upload their conscience into like new bodies. So they basically like stealing people's bodies and just re-upping their conscience into people. So like they're living like 800,000 years or whatever. It's like, it's a decent show, but it's out there.
cool.
But I love those type of shows like that where they just make like the theoretical possibilities. What was that one? It was like an FBI show where the dude, he was like some genius, but the FBI like contracted him and his like felon son, surprise, surprise. But, and they were investigating like crimes and different things that happened. They were like supernatural in a sense, where like people were just like melting and weird things, and like, but they ended up being like the universe was like the threads of the universe were like kind of falling apart because they were attempting to get into the next universe over, like the multiverse thing, like, but all the things they were talking about, it was completely ridiculous. I'm sure anyone that just listened to the 5 seconds I just talked there were like, that sounds completely ridiculous. But the way they string it together, they're using theoretical possibilities,
right,
and like all this theoretical math and all these different things. I'm like,
they're smarter than you give them like initial.
yeah, like it's this sounds
credit
absolutely
to,
ridiculous, but
yeah,
but it's
it's like old. It's like Star Trek. Like it's goofy as heck, but like there's actual science behind some of the things that they do on that show.
Right.
Like, when they go to warp speed, it's actually bending time or whatever instead of going a distance. And
right. Well, that's what we talked about that too. Whereas even Einstein would say, if you can control gravity, then you control time. If you can control time, then like distance is not a factor because you could technically jump. Or we mentioned that movie. I really like that one with Bradley Cooper. Not Bradley Cooper.
Limitless.
No,
Wet Hot American Summer.
Matthew McConaughey.
The space movie? That's a cool movie.
It's a really cool movie, and it was like, oh yeah, like, and then when they landed up, what was that called?
It wasn't Interstellar, was it?
Interstellar, yeah.
Okay.
Like
That was a cool
when they
movie.
land on that one planet with like they had a ridiculous amount of gravity in the tides, or it had a moon that went around it, and it like had like it was like 200-foot tall like tide.
Yeah.
It just came in all of a sudden like, oh shit, wrong planet to land on. Like,
Was that the one where his daughter gets old?
Yeah.
yeah, because he's gone for because he ends up
And
traveling.
he's stuck in the house at the end, or there's some weird ending where
Something with a library and
yeah.
I don't remember the ending. I just remember going through the black hole and then basically traveling like essentially back through time where he was just roughly the same age as his daughter. It was like 50 years later or something like that.
wasn't that something they were worried about with the I think it was the Large Hadron Collider, like creating a black hole, and someone actually filed a lawsuit against them.
There's so many conspiracies out there about that, about all this weird stuff that's happening. They're like, oh, it's the Hadron Collider, and the aliens are coming, and all the space things, and yeah. Well, you can't blame them for 2020 and all the things that have happened this year.
Dude, I read an article about it. It was like 1978, I think, and it was I think it was in Russia. Excuse me. It was a particle collider, and this dude accidentally, he was like cleaning it.
That's not two things you want in the same sentence. Particle collider and accidentally.
No, man.
Accidentally
It's
dusting
not.
it.
It's not. He was cleaning it in
It went off.
Yeah, it did. It literally went off, and his head was
I
right.
think I have heard this
His
story
head
before.
was right in the line of fire, and it just boomed right through his head, dude.
What did that do?
Right through his head. So took him to the emergency room or whatever, and
X-Men.
they were like, "This dude's gonna die." Like the amount of radiation that went through was like, it was incredible.
I
Is
guess
what they
that's the
said.
problem, isn't it? The radiation.
It was incredible, is what they said. I can't remember the comparison that they gave, but so they said that he ended up like half his face like aged differently than the other half of his face.
What?
But he lived. But he had some deficits and stuff, but he lived.
Interesting.
That's one you might want to look up. I don't want to botch that, but I know it was pretty close to that.
Did you hear that thing about the Israeli
Guy
general,
jerks
or
off.
whatever, that's claimed that aliens have been on Earth for a super long time?
But
And
they're just waiting for people to get their shit together.
Yeah, I did
before
see
they
that.
I
I
was
did see
like,
that.
That is the best article I've read. This dude's like in his 70s or 60s or something.
Yeah. I saw the speaking of Joe Rogan, I saw the post where he was like, "Get your act together, bitches. I want to meet these aliens." Is known for surviving. What was it? It was in 1978.
Yeah, I think so. Is that what it
Anatoly
says?
Bogorsky.
Yeah, I think it was 78 is what.
Bogorsky. Anatoly Bogorsky. Yeah, worked within the largest particle accelerator. Oh, this was like, what was it? 1970. July 13, 1970. Bogorsky was checking a malfunctioning piece of equipment when the safety mechanism failed. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
saw a flash brighter than thousands of suns, but did not feel any pain. The beam passed through the back of his head, the occipital and temporal lobes of his brains.
Yeah, because he had seizures afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah, the left half of Bogorsky's face swelled up beyond recognition. Over the next several days, the skin started to peel, revealing the path that the proton beam had burned through parts of his face. Wow. I wonder how long he lived. I wonder, does it say when he died? Doesn't say when he died. What if he's still alive? Yeah, it says he's still alive. 78.
Bro, let's get him on the podcast.
That's what I was just thinking. You guys need to talk to this fella.
Let's get him on the podcast.
We don't have that much clout. That's not gonna.
Not yet. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Anatoly Bogorsky, hit us up. It's always why.
I bet he's. You know, he's on Facebook.
Yeah. Why is there these Russian dudes that get like into this? Maybe
Because that's the only place you have to have a PhD to be a janitor to clean out a.
That's true.
Well, no, it sounded like this guy was actually working on it.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a retired. Yeah, he's a retired Russian particle physicist. So he's actually a physicist.
Yeah, he's.
I think everyone in Russia is a physicist.
I think so
I
too.
think so. They got something.
They-
weird
they were-
going on.
Or an author.
Well, it's because they start jamming him with steroids at the age of 5.
Mm-hmm.
You must be big and strong for Mother Russia. Oh, speaking of, have you ever heard about that cave in Russia? They found, it was semi recent. I can't remember the name of it, but where they found jewelry and art and stuff from like 100 and they're saying it's like 130,000 years ago.
I think so. Just like in the last like month or so.
I don't know if it was that recent, but it was semi recent.
That might be when I just read about it.
You said 130,000 years
Yeah,
ago?
they were taking. Maybe this is different, but like saying that humanity went even longer, like the history of
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah, the Denisova Cave.
Yeah, longer than they thought.
Stone bracelet, the oldest ever found. It was 2015. So there's some people that are dating it back to 40,000, but they're saying that it's possible that it could be even further than that, up to like 130,000 years ago.
What was your city? What did they did that the Tepe or
Göbekli
whatever?
Tepe?
Yeah, Göbekli.
Yeah, so this is
that-
well, this isn't. Maybe we can get. So here we go. Here we
I
go.
need another drink.
was it 12,000? Is that how long ago
12,
they thought?
I think they're saying
Göbekli
it was at least 12,500 years.
Okay.
Well, 12,500 years ago is when they buried it.
Okay.
Which is they bury it right. So that's the weird thing. So, but they're saying everyone agrees that they found this stone bracelet in this cave that is at least 40,000 years old.
So then, I mean, dude, how could civilization only go back to
Well, so there's a difference. A lot scientists, a lot of people, like everyone agrees that humanoids,
just not civilization? Yeah.
humanoids have been around for hundreds of thousands of years.
Okay.
Wait,
I was going to say, I read something this week that they were saying in 2020, archaeologists have been very busy and they found that, Homo sapiens have been like interbreeding with different humanoid animals. And like the story, humanity goes even longer than they ever expected. And I forget the location that they dug up all these, like this cave somewhere where they had like, proof or evidence stating I don't remember the different Homo species, but like
Right.
a lot, like our evolution or the reason that we've been around so long is because we've interbred with different humans. And our story's longer than
and that's
think.
what like, and a lot of people like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that will listen to this and go like, well, who cares? Like what? I want a new iPhone. You know what I mean?
5G
But like it could change the entire like the way we look at life, and that's what it's done for me.
Right.
Like because you look at like to your point, there was and when I say like humanoids, I'm not talking like alien humans.
right.
Stuff
You're
like
thinking
that.
Bigfoot
Like-
and like Jersey Devils.
See, I told you he's crazier than I am. But like it's Homo sapiens, Homo erectus,
Sure.
The Neanderthals, like those are all like humanoids that they'd say are on the path of our evolution. But the crazy thing about this one is with this piece of jewelry. So if this picture we got up there, you can see like this is a hole through. I think it's granite or something like that. It's not limestone. You know, it's an extremely everyone agrees, all of the quote unquote scientists and everybody, even the people that disagree on a lot of things, they agree that this is at minimum 40,000 years old. It appears to be some kind of jewelry. It's an extremely hard rock, and it has a perfect hole drilled through it. Like it looks, I mean, it kind of looks like a ring or like a bracelet
No,
or
it
something.
totally does.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is,
Do you think that at one point humanity was more advanced than we are now? Like let's use the biblical flood. Pre-flood, we could have had flying cars.
yeah.
But that we'd find that though, so it had to be organic of some sort.
well, not necessarily.
Don't you think they'd dig up like an ancient like Cadillac or something?
No. So think about it this way though: is you throw a piece of metal out there.
Mm-hmm.
If I throw, even if I bury it, you know, I've another thing too, real quick. I feel like I pronounce the word buried wrong.
Buried?
I say it with an A.
Don't
like
know.
it has like or like an E, like it has like a bush that is buried, has berries on it, not buried. I hear a lot of people saying buried, almost like burrow, but like buried. You ever noticed that? No. Okay.
It's
Sorry.
like creek or crick, man.
So anyway,
I speak with the Queen's English, so I don't know.
I was here. Aren't you technically more like French than you would be English? No. Are you? Do you know where you're? Because you're. So we didn't mention this, but you were born in Canada.
No.
No, you weren't born. You were born in the United States, but your parents are from Canada.
Correct.
Okay, that makes. I was gonna say I knew there was some Canadian.
And I
lineage.
lived there for a while.
Canadian lineage.
For a time, yes.
Okay.
And my extended family is all
Still
north
in
of the
Canada.
border. Correct.
North of the border.
There's only
Come
one
on,
border
Fred.
that matters,
Pull
and
your
it's
thumb out of your
America.
ass, Fred.
Yeah. Sorry.
Get with it.
I'm sorry.
I'm leaving. God.
You have offended me.
We'll put a picture of Trudeau up for you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
please. See how
Jesus.
handsome he is.
He is. Maybe he was the one they made after Elon Musk. He's got some weird ideas.
Could be second iteration.
Yeah. So, but it all like going back to lineage. Sorry, I don't know where we got there, but so the crazy thing about this, going back to the ring. Crazy thing about this is, you know, it has a hole.
What if it's from Mordor?
That'd be really creepy. You know, I think if you left a piece of metal out the same time as this ring is, that metal's not there anymore.
Right, it's
People think steel and metal is like some awesome like material that's so strong. Well, it's strong, but guess what? Take a big chunk of steel, throw it out in your backyard, and see what it looks like in 20 years.
Right. You ever come across an old car in the woods? It's like paper.
Yeah, it's gone, and it's only 30 years old.
Right.
Or 40, like even 50 years. You leave a car there for 50 years, it's damn near gone.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I used to think that too. Like, people say, "Oh, well, we could have been more advanced before, you know, some catastrophes, or you know, the flood, or whatever it may be." And it's like, well, no. Like I say, like, well, where's all the technology then? Where is it? Well, think about everything we build stuff out of nowadays. If we had some big catastrophe, say a meteor, comet, or asteroid, I don't know the difference between all of them, but like, if something were to hit the Earth and killed us, and we didn't maintain anything, 10,000 years later, nobody would know that we were here.
Right.
Like, you look at this room, it's all wood and some metal, and there's not an ounce of stone in this place.
It's like an old barn or a house. Like if you stop using it, it just deteriorates to nothing.
yeah.
It might be a well someday or a basement, but
So yeah, except the barnstone.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And even then, a lot of that barn's, it's soft
Yeah.
stone.
Mm-hmm.
So like when people look at the things like, you know, like the pyramids in Egypt, or, you know, the Mayan pyramids, and, you know, where do we find things like that? They're in caves, which
Yeah.
are made out of stone, or they're stone monoliths, like these giant structures built out of granite and these super hard rocks.
So you're saying Rushmore is safe?
Oh yeah.
Literally, that's I've heard people talk about that before too. So
Those
we've
faces
never-
were there before the presidents.
I think there's some water erosion on
I think
Rosebud's
so.
nose.
I think so.
Yeah. So
This bottle
It's fancy.
is awesome.
I'm not sure exactly what it's all supposed to mean, but it is fancy.
It looks like it's out of like.
Looks kind of veiny.
Yeah, do you see the? I was gonna go with 6-shooters, man, but I just rewatched Tombstone. So,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah,
It's old school.
I love that movie. Once a year, you gotta watch Tombstone.
Once a year.
Like a man.
The only thing I could ever think about that is like, what do you want on your tombstone? Pepperoni and banana peppers, please.
No, the best Tombstone is the barbecue chicken one. That's dope.
Okay, I can see. I'm okay with barbecue chicken.
Yeah. That's pizza, folks.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, see, I told you he's going to keep me off track more than I do.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm like a ping pong ball.
Yeah, just rattle it out there. That's what it's all about. There are no rules here.
No rules. Do you guys ever interview each other? Like I think that'd be an interesting show. You guys are both interesting dudes. Like if you interviewed Fred and Fred interviewed you,
I mean, not an interview per se, but we kind of have asked questions.
like a bio. That would be cool.
We've never done a full bio. I'd say.
I think you guys should.
That'd be like 10 podcasts.
I know, but I think it'd be cool because you guys are both very interesting, well-spoken individuals, and I, for one, would be curious.
Well, we kind of not really tried to do that, but we tried to do that a little bit with the last two.
But you dust things on there, so it keeps me wondering what more you have to say, or what more
keeps
who you
intrigued.
are. Yeah. So future episode.
Yeah, I don't want to spill all the beans.
No,
you know?
no, I get that. I'm just.
I don't want to
saying.
spill the tea so quickly.
So quickly. I mean, maybe you should be on TV.
Oh, no
Be
thanks.
like Joe Rogan and be on news radio.
I can't imagine what I'd do if I like. It's so weird, like the whole Joe Rogan thing, where like everyone's like, oh, they get so nervous to be on a show, and he's like, I'm just a fucking dumb chimp. Like I like,
Dude, if he's a fucking dumb chimp, have you seen his house?
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, but like he's really like he keeps saying, he's like, no, like don't listen to me. I'm a moron. Like I'm an idiot.
I mean, he was an average dude before, like an average comedian. When I say average,
Yeah.
you know, fucking
Yeah, an average
comedian.
famous comedian and show host.
Yeah,
Yeah, Fear Factor, and then the, broadcast, like the fights.
yeah.
So,
And then he's on like 3 episodes of Dave Chappelle or whatever. But did you watch news radio back in the day, like 1990 whatever through 1998 or whatever? He was like the janitor at a radio station with. It's a great show.
you said news radio?
Yeah, news radio.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Oh, for real? That's when I first discovered Joe Rogan. It's him and a couple other Saturday Night Live cast members, and that dude from. He's on Joe Rogan. He's an alien guy. I can't think of Dave something.
He's an alien guy?
Yeah, he's a celebrity, but he likes aliens.
Oh, he likes aliens. I thought you
Yeah.
were saying that he was an alien.
No, he might be.
I'm like,
I mean, he's
tell
from
me more.
Hollywood, so he's probably an alien.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who's a
He's from LA.
multi-millionaire. He's
So
from LA.
He's definitely an alien.
LA. Freaking Lord Kenny, man.
So why did you make the face earlier when he brought up Göbekli Tepe and you said you never tried?
I was just joking around because I was
feel like you're one of the very few people that actually know.
because I was
about
just listening to some more of Graham Hancock, and he was bragging about how he he wasn't bragging, I'm sorry, but he was talking about how he kind of
Like broke the story.
yeah,
or-
or he said, well, I know, I knew this, I discovered this, I spoke about this prior before the finding of that. So, and it was just funny because I literally was just listening to some old interviews of him, and he was talking about that. So that's the only reason why.
Yeah. Well, I took a giant dive,
Dude,
huge dive.
he's a character.
Yeah, he is. But I even more so than him. Like we've discussed it too. Like Randall Carlson, John Anthony West. I actually have been watching Magical Egypt. Have you ever looked into that?
I have
John
not.
Anthony West at all? Like I took when I say dive. I took,
Yeah, no,
He
I know.
called off work.
No,
He,
I didn't call off
locked
work.
himself in the basement.
No, But I would say in the past couple months, I've listened or watched, I would say probably, I would say at least 40 to 50 hours worth of.
Poor man.
No, it's fascinating.
It is, but doesn't it hurt a little bit?
No, I think I don't. To me, it doesn't. It's super interesting, and I think to me, it's not the so. I don't know how far we'll get on this before Chris gets me sidetracked again, but it's super
Kick
interesting.
me. Just give me like.
No, no, that's the whole fun of it. It's really interesting, and I want to say this because again, we bring up aliens
Again.
jokingly. I can't. You picked it up too.
No, I was thinking of, when you were talking about people pronouncing words, I was thinking of that
I know,
word, but I
again,
didn't say
I
it.
know.
If you didn't say that, I would never have.
No, so
You can't play along with the show.
dude,
God damn it.
I'm pretty sure. So no, I heard it real quick. I think Randall. You said Randall Carlson.
Yeah.
Is that, I'm pretty sure he says again the same way
does.
you say again.
Does he?
Because I was like,
Yes.
holy crap! I was like him and Fred.
And
You know
again,
what?
if you
Same alien
divide the
wavelength.
steps of humankind versus how many years a human lives, that's basically the cosmic timeline. What?
Yeah. Well, I will gladly be put in the same category as Randall Carlson.
There you go.
Because, well, I've never met him personally, but he seems just like a really genuine, nice dude who is either one, super smart, or has just spent his entire life studying one thing that he just knows it all.
I think both.
And he's he's a really good speaker too. But so we obviously joke a lot about different things.
Sure.
But my perspective on the aliens and the simulation and the ancient civilizations is kind of where Graham Carlson, Graham Hancock, and Randall.
They're
Carlson.
one and the same.
Well,
Say
I
they,
would say
they didn't have a baby yet, so
but
Still trying. You take enough ayahuasca, you have no idea.
But it's not the to me, like we mentioned on the last podcast, it's not like I don't want ancient. Maybe you did. I don't want like I watch Ancient Aliens, but I don't watch it because it's like, oh, it was the aliens did it.
Right.
It's that guilty pleasure.
It is.
Like
it's
you told
totally a
me.
guilty pleasure.
It's like my Kardashians.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna watch some stupid shit, I'm gonna watch something that's like at least makes me go, that is strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not, I wonder if her ass is real.
Right.
No, like I'd rather think about what happened to the pyramids instead of Kim's ass. Like so
Maybe it was made by the.
maybe it was aliens. To me, that's more alien than anything. But anybody, and so I look at the big picture of it, and what does it mean? Like, not that some alien is gonna abduct me and probe me and drop me off in a cornfield somewhere when they make a sweet graffiti sign in the corn, some ridiculous stuff, but. What could
that
it
sounds
be?
like a Tuesday night.
It does.
Without
Guys, you think what I'm
without the
thinking?
aliens.
Some Tuesday night, box of wine. Make some crop circles.
Yes.
I'm down.
That sounds like a good time.
It does sound like a good
That would
time.
be some shit though. If you knew a farmer that just like
Just someone who just
sadly wasn't quite intelligent enough to be like, someone's pulling a prank on me, like go out there and make some crop circles, be like, holy shit,
Martha,
Joe,
the
would you
burning
look
shit
at
on the
that?"
front porch again kind of guy.
Just to fuck with him.
Dude, it'd be great. Just roll in there. They'd never know until they walk out and they're like,
Yeah, just really do some pull some signs.
and then
stuff
you
on
have
somebody.
the History Channel come in like, there's definitely some magnetic material on the ground here.
Yeah. Must have been Bigfoot.
Must have been Bigfoot.
Yeah. But my point is that it gets me thinking, even my wife, as well as she knows me, still like thinks I'm crazy half the time. I'm like, we actually had a discussion the other night where we kind of disagreed on something, but it was something that I was drilling so far down into it and thinking about like just like the root cause, like all these things. It was like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about all this stuff. She's like, I didn't even get to that point yet. Like, so like the potential of aliens and what could they really be? Because even I think it's becoming more, it is becoming more and more, I don't think acceptable, but broadly thought that like look like we at least think we'll understand how many stars and planets and galaxies are out in the universe, and like it's. I think it's fairly vain to think that we're the only ones.
I totally agree.
You know what I mean? And I think that's
I mean,
the simplest.
They just found like a moon or a planet that has enough sustenance for life, like outside of like in our solar system. So
Yeah, well,
I can't remember what it is, but like you know,
they said like Mars. They said that Mars used to have ice caps. They
right.
found
This
proof
is this
that
is like
water used-
farther away from the sun than Mars.
Right. So like at one point, like there's a lot of planets out there that had water and that had potentially had an atmosphere and oxygen. So to think that there's planets out there that aren't in that realm of having all the things for life, like, come on. Like to me that sounds more ridiculous than saying, no, we're the only ones.
It's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, unless you're like super duper selfish, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're there and like, I am special. Like, we are the only special things here,
Right, yeah.
in the universe,
Right.
Like,
And then, trust me,
and then they're like, that universe is pretty big, but we're still super duper special.
yeah. And to look at the 7.5 billion people on the planet today and think that we're all super duper special. Like, I've met a lot of people. Some of them aren't so special.
So it sounds like a small town high school quarterback that just never moved away.
Yeah. Still got his
Uncle Rico.
Yeah. Watch this. Come on, boy. Show them what you're made of. Little Varsity Blues.
I was literally thinking that.
That's what it was.
I was waiting for you to be
That's
like,
weird. I went right to Napoleon
tan.
Dynamite. I don't know.
Napoleon Dynamite.
I was going to. I bet I could throw this pigskin over this mountain.
God, that's weird. You said what you said earlier, and then it was some movie that we were talking about, or some reference, and then you just said Napoleon Dynamite, and said something about that earlier about Tina, the llama, or whatever it was.
Tina, eat
Way
your
earlier,
dinner,
yeah.
Tina.
Full circle.
There we go.
very bizarre.
You want to talk about
Some
and we
energy
think that
here.
yeah, of course we're special. We are absolutely the only people on the planet or in the world, universe.
Maybe.
Idiots, bunch of idiots. Yeah. So Graham Hancock, Göbekli Tepe. How it doesn't sound like you've maybe, at least not in the last 3 months, have taken a deep dive as much as I have.
This week I have, because you were like, you mentioned these two names right away.
Well, as soon as like so you're the
And-
only person that like I've ever been like, oh, I don't remember how the conversation started when we started talking about this, but then like you were like, oh yeah, I know who Graham Hancock is. I was like, oh,
Well, you were like, hey, do you like Bob? You asked me if I knew who Bob Lazar and that dude who,
well, I knew
the
you
fighter
like,
pilot,
I knew you like Bigfoot.
and I'm like,
So
of course I do. Like, who doesn't know who Bob Lazar is?
and David Fraser.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Everyone out there is going, who the fuck is Bob Lazar and David Fraser?
okay, I have one side note. Those two guys, pretty interesting. Have you seen any of their movies that Jeremy guy has made?
I have not.
Because he makes me crazy. Like, I've watched both. I'm not gonna lie. I've watched both of the movie. Or I'm sorry, the Bob Lazar movie. It's on like Hulu or
Because
Amazon.
I don't think he did one with David. Did he
No, he didn't. But there's an episode of like Joe Rogan where he, I think, and I could be totally off base, he interviews Bob Lazar and David Frere together, and that Jeremy guy. And then the Jeremy guy,
Jeremy Corbell.
yeah, and then Jeremy Corbell and that dude who does Missing 411 are in an episode together where they talk about Skinwalker Ranch. And that Jeremy Corbell, he's not a great movie maker. Like,
No, is
in
he
my
not?
opinion, like
I've never seen his
It's
stuff.
a
He
lot
seems-
of like dramatic color schemes and words and like no sustenance, and then you're like,
That's a bummer.
especially the Skinwalker Ranch movie. The Bob Lazar story is fairly interesting on its own, but the movie's decent, but it's not what you
What you hope for?
Someone spending a certain amount of money on a film should be better.
See, I don't know anything about
Jeremy
but
Corbell.
I heard him on that when I heard his discussion with Bob Lazar and
Yeah.
Jeremy Corbell.
He interjects too much. Hey, Fred.
Yeah, and
Tony, can I?
it's like, hey, you gotta tell him about the thing, Bob.
Tony,
Bob,
do you
tell
remember
him-
that thing?
No,
Fred.
Yeah,
Joe,
Christ,
Joe.
You gotta tell him about the thing. Like that was. I very much got that
You're
vibe.
like, oh, my Lanta.
Yeah, like let the man tell a story. He's already having a heart
He's
attack.
really
over there.
scared of telling his story that he's made a lifetime of financial gain from.
Yeah, but he did. I will say, because I watched a little bit of just the video. Bob Lazar looked extremely uncomfortable.
Oh, he does not like it at all.
Yeah. Well, we're on the flip side. Jeremy was like, "Come on, tell him about the thing."
Oh,
Bob.
I think he
Tell
had
him-
like a
tell him about
fork
the
in
thing."
the guy's thigh the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, "Come on, tell him about the thing, Bob."
I feel bad for that dude. Like if Bob Lazar's story is real, like his life has been threatened for like 30 years.
Yeah. Well, they were at one point. He was like all of his records were just
Yeah.
gone. Like they.
And he was a legitimate like physicist too. Like he made like a
car
same kind of car you used to have.
Yeah. The Civic rocket. Yeah. The
With
Civic
like
rocket.
a rocket on the engine on the back.
Yeah. So
But wouldn't you take your buds out to the desert to look at UFOs?
fuck yeah.
Exactly. like if you knew, like you're like, hey, I got some Miller Lite. Let's go watch some aliens. Like I'm down. I'm coming
Yeah.
right now.
I will. You want to bring the camcorder? That's a terrible idea. Fuck yeah.
But it's like the 1980s. Who cares? Like
Yeah. They don't even realize.
cocaine fueled.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So for those sitting in at your car or home listening to this that think we're lost our minds, it's super interesting if you actually listen to the stories. Like listen to Bob Lazar's story, who was supposedly he was a physicist at a lab, and then he made his rocket car.
And then he got a job for
And then
the
he ended up-
U.S. government.
Yeah, and ended up
51.
supposedly working. Well, it wasn't like Section 49. It was like in Area 51.
Right. So he had like a specific piece of equipment that was his only, and he had no idea what the other physicists were working on. It was like, you only do like the toilet, and you only do the kitchen, and you only do the engine, and they figure it out. But they're not allowed to know what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, because it was a super high,
Right.
classified thing. But Bob Lazar claims that he was working on,
Propulsion.
UFOs, propulsion of the UFOs.
Like reverse engineering it? Or?
Yeah, trying to reverse
I got you.
engineer it. He claims that that not only they obviously had the propulsion device that they were doing tests on, but that at multiple times throughout his working process that he saw UFOs, and he got to see one and look inside one.
Is that the same thing as the Tic Tac, or is this a different?
No, this is a different one.
It is, but I think it's but
That's what I'm saying. Was he reverse engineering the Tic Tac? The same thing?
No, this was different. All they gave him I think he saw a couple UFOs a couple times.
he had some sort of molecule,
It was like some kind of like
and he could make it fly with the right. I don't know. Like he could hook it up to something, and it would.
it was a so he was the guy. I think he's one of the biggest people that are proponents for anti-gravity
Gravity.
devices. And so they had this, in his words, his anti-gravity device. They were trying to figure out how it worked.
To answer your question, though, whatever he was working on would move like the Tic Tac.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just wasn't the Tic Tac. So the
Right.
Tic Tac was David Frager,
Yeah.
who was a commander in the U.S. Navy. He flew fighter jets for years and years, and he, like I would say, on the level of believableness and credentialness, Bob Lazar is not the top of the list.
No.
His story is compelling, and it sounds, if you listen to his whole story, it's like, okay, maybe,
But it's
maybe
also
not.
the same story as any other abductee situation.
But you said he was a physicist?
Yeah, he's extremely.
so
he's still an employed physicist. He's his own like science.
I
lab
guess
and
like what
stuff.
would he? I mean, has he made a lot of money off this?
No, he's just had his life threatened.
So
for
what, I
30
guess what would
years.
he have to gain from?
Nothing.
Right. So it's either he's a
know.
complete, he's either a complete psychopath.
pull something out of
But I mean, does he?
Why? Did you?
No, I just feel like there's tension on it. So every time I move, I feel like.
Does he?
I don't wanna
So
mess up
you
your-
guys have seen him in interviews. I haven't.
Yeah.
Does he seem like you said, a complete psychopath, or someone that has, some mental health problems.
He seems like a guy who's been like beat up and like put through the ringer, like a dude who's
That's
just
exactly
like,
how I would.
do you know what I
was
mean?
thinking
Like
in my
he
head,
seems
put
like
the ringer.
a kid who's just been like beat up throughout high school.
Yeah. So if like to watch obviously we go to Rogan a lot, but to go back to the Rogan episode, when you watch Bob Lazar tell a story, like he looks
reluctant.
extremely apprehensive. Like he's not there like, oh man, it's not like watching Alex Jones
Yeah.
talk
Oh,
about
God.
random
They
shit.
have to like dig it out of him,
Yeah,
and,
he's
then
like,
he's
and you can
reluctant
tell
to
the whole
release
time he's
that.
just like,
Is that because of like what's happened to him kind of in that microcosm, or like or you're saying like maybe he was abused back in the day, and so that's
I don't know if he was abused. What I mean by that is like he's just like the kid that gets beat up all the time in school, who's just like at the back of the bus avoiding everything.
right, and then
That-
and then someone tries to be nice to him.
yeah,
and,
put him
he's
like
well, I don't. They're like, hey, like someone walks up to him, like, hey, I'd like to talk to you. I got some. Do you want some candy? I'd like to.
Yeah.
Not like in a weird adult to a kid when she's
No, no,
candy.
no, I
Just
know.
like
So-
another kid, like, hey, you want to play? Like, you want to play with my toys together? And
Right.
it seems like he's like, you're
Reluctant
not
to-
gonna like kick me in the balls, are you? When we start playing with toys,
$200,000.
right, like full circle, full circle. No, like he when all this happened, like his life was threatened, so he like gave a story to the local news media, which was this. I can't remember the guy's name, like the missing 411 guy or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know a
I
whole lot
can't.
about that.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's pretty interesting. It's fun to listen to. Anyway.
Yeah.
So he gave his story to the news because he thought if he didn't, him and his wife would be killed, or like disappear.
Yeah.
Sure.
So ever since then, like
Oh,
like
I know
what,
who you're talking about now. I forget his name. Yeah,
yeah,
you're talking
it's-
about.
anyway, he's been in the media, and when you go out full bore saying you worked for Area 51 and you've seen a UFO and all this crap, like he's just been put through the ringer and doesn't want to talk about it anymore. And this Jeremy Corbell made a movie about his story, thinking it was an important story that needed to be heard. And the whole time, Bob Lazar, even though he will talk about, he's reluctant to talk about it because he
Gotcha.
looks just like he's just been like knocked down one too many times.
George Knapp.
George Knapp, that's it.
Yeah.
And George Knapp is an interesting character too because
I haven't dug into his story yet.
he does this. He has his books called Missing 401 about people specifically in national forests that disappear and their stories. Because every year there's a certain percentage of people that go into a national park. I'm sorry, and disappear. And so Missing 411 is kind of like him chronicling these disappearances. Where like, you're running, let's say at the Cuyahoga National
I'm definitely
Park.
not running. I might
Okay,
be,
you might be
walking.
rucking or
You're
walking.
Rucking. I might be rucking.
You might be
at
like
most.
going to, you're standing in line at the Winking Lizard at the Cuyahoga National Park. You disappear, and then 3 days later, they find your shoes like down by the water,
Right.
where you never were. And that this in particular bank for, let's say is really hard to get to. I'm like, why is Fred's shoes? He was definitely they have Fred Winwitten on them. I know they were the shoes he wore to the Winking Lizard that day. And then
This is weird.
And then this is weird. So there's a whole bunch of these out there, and they're all super weird.
Do they find those people then?
No, but they find evidence of them.
And they're just gone.
They're gone. Like so,
And this has happened how
This
many
is-
times?
enough for him to write at least one, if not multiple books, and make 2 movies. There's one
I feel
called
like that's a
Missing
healthy amount of people.
411 Hunters, or The Hunted, on one of these streaming channels. And Amazon Prime, I think. It's pretty interesting with these dudes who like, old dudes, guys our age, who like grew up hunting, and they're out in the woods and they're hunting, and they're like, I'm going to sit here, and 2 miles away, my buddy's going to sit here, and then my grandkids are going to run deer towards me. And then this dude disappears. No evidence of him. They search like these forests that these guys know. Every inch of them, can't find any evidence. They're just gone. Or they might find a backpack or his shoes or a water bottle. But on the highest peak of a mountain, like, why would he be there? It's
That
just
sounds super
it's
interesting.
very interesting.
So what's his theory then as to where these people went?
You name it. It could be like
Does he have? Does he put his own theory to it?
Yeah.
or does he
I
just tell
I
a
think he
story?
tries not. He usually just tells a story, but like I think the majority of the theories that follow him, and again, I could be totally off base, but this is what I've gathered from being, curious about this myself. Is it's either like a Bigfoot or alien situation, which at the same, I say that, but they're often the same situation because if you have a big alien population, you typically have a bunch of Bigfoot sightings too. So.
Right. And I think that's maybe the
Wait, hold on a second. I need to clarify that. So when you say like in areas where are you saying like in a period of time, like in a week, if you have
No,
a
no.
lot
Group of people.
Yeah. So
Okay,
like,
okay.
so
No,
like,
I didn't
so
know.
like
I
if
didn't
you
know.
have
I
if
didn't.
you have an area like, let's say our area has a whole bunch of Bigfoot sightings. They often, or not always, but can have an awful lot of UFO abductees.
it seems like when you have a lot of cornfields, you end up with having a lot of soybean
So
fields.
geographically, you're saying, okay, I didn't know if you meant like there was some statistical analysis that was done that showed like, in a week, if you have 3 Bigfoot sightings, then you have
5 UFO sightings.
yeah,
No,
okay.
but I think it's geographic. I mean, you
Okay.
could probably Google this super duper fast. And like, Chris, you're wrong and you're an idiot. Don't speak for the
No,
rest of this
well,
time.
so- well, that's-
but I think that's a fairly accurate, because if you look at the 2 biggest, and the bigger the population, the more sightings you have. So like Ohio and California have gigantic amounts of sightings because we have immense populations.
Which makes sense. I mean,
Right.
that's just, statistics.
But then you got to wonder, what are they seeing?
Right. Well, and I think that's so to your point, like when we talked to, like when you were saying that, in my mind, it was, to me, there's been such a stigma about aliens and, Bigfoot and Loch Ness and all these things where everything gets lumped into the same category because, I'm one of the first people to say, if I haven't seen it, I can't say it's true or not.
Right.
I make the joke about flat Earth. Well,
Wait, what?
I make a joke about
It's not a joke. It's no.
Well, I
It's
often,
real.
Oh, here
here we go. Yeah.
Just
But like I bring that up just as like because like, oh, if you believe in aliens, or you believe the Earth is flat, you believe this, that, whatever. Well, like, do I believe the Earth is flat? No, but have I been to space to see it? No. Do I know for a fact that the Earth is round? No, I don't, because I haven't seen it from a bird's eye view
You
perspective.
don't trust your books and internet?
Right. But you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying is I think the Earth is round.
Right. Me too.
I believe that the Earth is spherical. Even what do they call it? It's actually not spherical. It's like it's some kind of oblongish spherical like thing that they've made up a word for, because it's not perfectly round. But do I know that the Earth is round or spherical? No, I don't, because I've never seen it with my own eyes. Like, I just haven't. You know what I mean? So there's a big difference there that people.
So you have to see it to know it.
Back to balls.
Yeah, I think
boys.
so.
Back to balls.
You have to. Well, you have to have, for me to know it personally. For me to know something, I have to experience it. Right.
But is
To
this
know-
round? Or is this round?
Right. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, in general, like, in order for you to personally know something, not believe it or think it, to know it.
So not see it, but experience it.
You have to have some kind of experience that, like, if I went up in a condor when they were still flying, I saw the curvature of the Earth. I could say, well, it looks round.
Wait, did you say the
Isn't that an airplane that just went really
Concorde?
fast?
Condor.
Okay.
I said condor.
Yes,
the
you
bird,
did. The
not
bird.
the bird.
Yeah, so I was
Those are big-ass
I was
birds,
literally
bro.
thinking of that because I know someone that flew on that, and they said that they could see
They could see the curvature, but at the same time, the flat earthers would be like, well, that's because, the optical illusion at the, whatever. But all I'm saying is, until
Bro, you know what I say about flat earthers.
That they're the best. You should definitely have one on. Just let them
I'm
go.
just joking.
I won't.
I
I'd love
Just
to have
wind
them
them up and
Yeah.
let them go.
I would.
Tell me more.
But so I joke about all those things, but that's, to me, it doesn't necessarily, like, I'm not trying to prove that aliens exist or that the earth is flat, but all I'm saying is, to me, I think people need to think about, just because you're told something and it sounds really good doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
I've said it 1,000 times. My grandpa used to say, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. Because until you experience it for yourself, you don't know anything.
Right.
You can believe in something.
Do you believe in
think something.
mountains, that mountains are big? Or
Yeah.
do you think a mountain's the same size as like driving through like, Flickinger Hill?
No, because I've climbed mountains.
Okay.
You know, I've been through mountains.
Well, have you
I've
been to the
seen them.
Rocky Mountains?
I have not been to the Rocky
Well,
Mountains.
I have.
They're amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not special.
I climbed the Manitou Incline.
Did you really?
I did.
That's awesome. Man.
I never said that I know the Rocky Mountains are big. They might be tiny. I don't know.
Because the Appalachian Mountains are big, but they're not big like Rocky Mountains.
Yeah. See, I don't know though. I believe that they are, but I don't know.
Right.
So
No,
to
I know
me,
what you're
I'm
saying.
I'm a very definition analytical person where if we're going to use the words, let's use them properly.
I think it all comes back to like the exploration, like our desire to seek, whether it be like a new continent or a new fish or the bladder fish or like a UFO or something.
I love these
Do you know what I mean?
We
Like,
should just hang
like
out all the time.
we should. I'm down. No friend. I think it all comes to our desire to like see what else more than
Try
our own.
this actually.
I'll drink more beers. You don't have to. You just
Yes.
you
You
can
haven't
place
had
them in front of
beers.
me. It's about to be beers.
There's
Like
a trash
sour
can.
beer.
underneath the table,
No,
too.
I got to take pictures of my Untapped app to track my beer drinking.
I
You're
think
laughing, but this podcast is brought to you by Untapped.
Oh man, I don't know who that is, but
It's an app.
oh,
You can.
are they going to pay me for this?
You should ask them.
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is brought to you by
He's
Hometown.
obviously going to do the commercials. I've asked BattleBox to sponsor.
Do you guys do BattleBox? I love BattleBox. I've never paid for it or gotten anything from it, but it looks rad. Do you really?
I did. It was one of those things. I think we talked about on the podcast once, where it was like a. I don't know. Maybe I felt like spending money. I don't know. It was,
But did you get like some sweet like
do- I do.
paracord
So,
and
like-
like a fire starter?
but it's stuff that you would never think. That was very click.
I've been like intrigued by it. Like my wife has gotten like different boxes shipped to her, and I have friends that got like different things. I'm like, Battle Box seems right in my alley.
It is. We
But
can.
I don't really want to spend that money. I really like, you don't know,
It's
buy
well,
some beer.
Well, you get
or-
some good deals. I could show you some of this. After the podcast, I'll show you. But it's neat because like it's one of those things where I thought it was silly, but I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Like it seems kind of cool. I'll try it out.
Right, because there's different levels too. Like you
Yeah.
can get like
Yeah, the expensive levels. Are,
AK-47 and like Rambo's knife.
yeah, those are worthless for sure. But I find like you end up getting stuff that like you're like, oh, the box coming. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. And like, I think we talked about
Box
one
you can
pod-
burn. It's got a tarp and like a knife.
Yeah, like
Some wax matches.
Yeah.
$55.
but like some of the stuff you get where it's like you open the box, you're like, what the hell am I gonna do with this?
Right.
And then you look at it and you go, actually, like that's not a bad idea. Like if you like, you know, obviously they kind of pitch it as is that tart enough for you? Tony?
Oh, it's not
What do you,
so.
what, do you, what do you got there? What is that?
It's a session sour ale with guava.
What do you
I
think?
feel like I'm kicking it with the shaman here in the Amazon.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
all
thought
right.
it
I
might
do
be
like some
Yeah,
sour beers.
I do too.
I like some
I like it
sours,
quite a
some Berliner Weiss, and what's the
I
other
saw
one?
those and I was like, you know what? Maybe he hasn't had these before. I'll grab these.
Yeah, no,
and try
they're
'em
good,
out.
man.
Good deal.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everything.
yeah,
I had a 1 minute thing. And I was like, I'm gonna get some cigars and beers for these guys, but then like life happened. And
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's
I'm
all
getting
right.
some Hams beer. You ever had Ham Sky blue
No.
beer? Oh, it's great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's super cheap.
Well, next time
It's
to
like
bring some.
$4 for like 12 of them. It's perfect.
Oh, that's right up my alley. I told a story before. Where like I remember the one time I drove into a drive-through and a girl I went to high school with was there, and I got a case of Milwaukee's Best Ice, and she was like,
Quality.
She's like, you drink that? I said, well, you know, it's not as bad as you think, and it's only like $16 for a 30-pack. And then what the deal was, because like I do a little golf thing, and it was like I put beer in the fridge, and like my buddies come over, and then they do that, and then they drink the beer and they go home, and every single time it was they drink the beer and they go home. And I'm like, well, I'm not putting fucking good beer in that fridge. Like, you want some free beer? Here's the beast, and it's not that bad,
It's not that bad.
especially for the price. I don't even remember what we're talking about.
We were talking about his sour tart
But
monkey.
before that, the battle box.
Battle
no,
box,
you
yeah,
get
I'm
some stuff
sorry.
where you're just like, oh, what am I going to do with this? This is interesting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go, oh, like if you're a camper or you like outdoorsy stuff, like there's some things in there you go, oh, like this could be really useful.
Yeah.
But
it looks super cool.
it's neat. Some of the stuff you could waste money on it for sure
Mm-hmm.
if you paid too much for like some of the different levels. But some of the stuff's cool.
It looks fun. I always look at their website and be like, oh man, I could really spend like the big one and get all that rad stuff that I would like.
Yeah, but I've seen like the
Custom-made
top
knives.
two ones are like knives and stuff that you like,
I
why do
already have,
I need
yeah.
a new knife every month? Like,
Dude,
no.
you do. Let's be honest.
No, I have enough knives. I don't need any more knives.
You can never have enough rope, and you can never have enough
What the
knives.
fuck you need a fucking rope for?
If you have to ask, then you don't know.
I had to bring along the rope, didn't you? It's got to weigh 30 pounds.
Exactly.
I mean, it's all about exploration,
It
right?
is
Going
all about exploration.
full circle.
Full circle.
I think we got on all that.
Yeah.
From the
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar and the Graham. Well, no, I think we started out with Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson. So I think that's in the other ring that we talked about the
From
ring to start
testicles
the
to ancient civilizations to aliens.
yeah. But I think that the alien, not the aliens. We can come back to the aliens, and unless you want to talk about, do you think aliens have been here, Mr. Chris Doohan?
Do I think aliens have been
Have
here?
aliens visited us?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I mean, like, yeah, I think so. I mean, I like the idea that they have,
Yeah.
or the idea that they're coming, which is more menacing. I feel like.
I think I can see that.
Yeah.
All I can think
Why?
of is Mars attacks right now.
Exactly.
Why? Why do you think they like? Why didn't they reveal them? That's why always.
Why
people
would
always are
they?
like,
Why would they? Why would a? I mean, I'm not necessarily. I think if they haven't been here, I don't necessarily think aliens are much different than us. You know, I don't think that they're necessarily like green or gray or purple or blue or whatever. I think they're probably similar to us. I think sometimes. I mean, I wonder that because I have no proof. So I'm speculating 100%. I mean, how do we not know that
would
they're
you
not?
tell me if you did have proof
I would tell you guys.
right now, like on air or off air?
I'd do one of these.
As he covers the mic.
No, like I hope I like to think that they've been here or they're coming, because the idea of aliens has inundated our culture on such a mass level that I feel like I mean the people that get abducted, you know, there's a certain stereotype to those that have, and when you watch television programs on the, you know, you gotta be like, I don't know if that's a viable witness, but the idea of the alien is interesting, like, or you know, someone from a different planet or from the future or from the past. I don't know.
I think there's some viability there, and I think a big thing about the stories behind it.
Yeah.
I think people need to stop equating the alien stories with the TV alien stories. Oh, you didn't have the
I
mic.
thought you were going to say butt sex.
If you can't be on TV and talk about butt sex, what can you talk about?
And I'll go back to, because it's just the most atrocious thing that's on TV. Kardashians, like, Kardashians aren't all people.
Butt sex.
Butt sex.
Like, okay, where are we going here?
I mean, I was
Fred,
just tying
gosh.
it together.
Probing.
You know what I mean? Like, so let's stop pretending that like everybody who believes in aliens thinks they're getting probed.
Well, I don't, yeah. And I think that there are people, like intelligent people, like these two people we've mentioned, David Frere and Bob Lazar, intelligent, but they've also never been abducted by aliens. I think that's two different things. I think seeing something weird in the sky and
just reporting it.
or saying like somebody took me up in a blast of light, I lost 24 hours, and because there's real stories out there of people that have been abducted,
So-
like those dude that did. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to ask you if so. It seems like you know a decent amount about that. Anybody that supposedly got abducted, that is like pretty legit. Like they have a background of credibility.
I mean, if you got abducted, would you want me to believe you? And you had the ball to tell somebody? Do you know what I mean? Like
This guy sold his ball for $200,000. I don't believe him.
but like those dudes that made that Contact, that Steven Spielberg movie back in the day, like they really believe that something weird happened to them.
Yeah.
And I think it's affected their whole lives. And typically these people, they might have some mental illness. I think there's a large population of people that are attention seekers.
Yeah.
And I think there's a very small amount that something very physical happened to them, and they can't explain it. It's like, that I don't know. I can't speak. It's like sleep paralysis. Is someone sitting in your chest abducting you, or are you really suffering from sleep paralysis?
Right. Well, I think that's why I partially believe like Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Why he makes it as wild as this story sounds. It's like, I'm gonna leave the door open there for him because he seems super uncomfortable talking about it, and somebody that's just trying to, get some fame or whatever. They're going to be like Jeremy Corbell, who's like, "Ooh, Bob, tell him about the thing, Bob." It's like, well, relax, Jeremy. Like this guy's freaking, like he's having a panic attack over here. And I don't know if you know the story. I remember where I heard it. Supposedly, I haven't dug into this either, but there was a guy. I think he was in. It's like Arizona or Southwest somewhere. They were they were logging, and then like there was like a logging team, and then they were working later, but they got in their truck and they were heading back to town, and they saw something. The one guy got out, and then like the guys like sped off and left him, and he supposedly got abducted. And like 5 days later, he just shows up,
Right.
and everybody tells the same story. It wasn't like a crazy, hey, I got abducted and probed in the butt by like. It was one of those stories that just goes under the radar because it's not salacious.
Right. So the weird thing that I see with all the subject is that you have people all over the world, and this is like they see something very bizarre. Something. I mean, there's that. You ever that school in South Africa where like UFOs came off the spaceship?
I haven't.
And like
I
all
wanna,
these.
I want to learn about that because I heard about it. And
It
I'm
is
like,
the most
what?
bonkers school. Like these kids are our age now, and some of them still remember it.
I heard they just got them back together just recently.
Yeah, they did. This like in the last year or so, or whatever.
Well, so explain this.
Okay, I don't recall the details because usually I'm, I listen to a lot of podcasts about this kind of stuff.
He's like embarrassed.
I'm a little embarrassed by it because
we did specify that this was like a guilty
okay.
pleasure.
Yeah, no, and I truth be told, I love it. Like it is like it makes me very happy. I don't care how bizarre it is. Like I love a good conspiracy. I'm like, tell me more. The more outlandish, the better. So I just
doesn't mean you have to
doesn't
believe
mean
it all.
doesn't mean I believe
Sure,
it. It just means I
sure.
enjoy the living heck out of it.
I think
so.
so real quick. I think that's a big point where there's so many people lose the thought of just because you enjoy something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I enjoy watching Ancient Aliens.
Right.
It doesn't mean I believe all of it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that I
You can't get a takeaway out of it.
exactly. Yeah. And that some of it can't be true. Right.
So like, I don't know. I don't even know the time frame. We'll say the 80s because that sounds 30 years ago or whatever. An elementary school in South Africa, a UFO like parked itself in a school zone, and like a bunch of aliens came out and interacted with these children. These children are now, in their mid 30s and 40s. Like they're our age.
And I think they drew pictures.
And they drew
then.
pictures, and all this to say is like they all had the same experience. So you can take like any UFO or weird paranormal thing, like there's very specific indicators which you could make up, like I was abducted, or I lost time, or
Sure.
I woke up and I had this like weird rash and something's in there, and the doctors removed it, and it was like some weird piece of metal that they couldn't explain or whatever. They all have these similar antidotes.
Hold on a second. The thing with the weird piece of metal, like that,
Dude, that's a legitimate story. Like if you start spending time in weirdness, there are stories of people that have like, they had like a pain, and they don't know where this pain came from, and then they went to the doctor and they took an X-ray, and there's like, a pill-looking thing, somewhere in their body,
Yeah.
just below the skin. Like, why is that there? I mean, I think it's an episode of the X-Files
did it say
too.
property of Bill Gates on it? Or?
Yeah, I think it did say like Windows 98. So,
That's why that shit didn't work. No wonder malfunction.
but it's real. Like I do believe there's an X-Files if you want to go on. But you deep dive, and there's all these anecdotes but there's like everyone sees a similar thing. Or
So what did the pictures look like that they drew?
well, they all kind of look like I don't recall, but aliens. Like there's like a literally.
Like big head, like
I,
typical.
I don't.
alien,
You know,
or-
I can't. I don't.
It wasn't.
I
It
don't
was.
recall.
I don't. Like. I'm.
Come on, pull a Jamie.
Oh, yeah, I never. Maybe I should have. Duh. Sorry, I'm trying to Jamie myself.
But
over
it's
here,
like a
yeah.
legitimate story. Like I think it's interesting. Like it's one of the few mass experiences,
Sure.
but it's held by children.
How many children were there?
I would say a schoolyard full of children, so like 30 kids maybe.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like like somewhere in South America, whether it be Mexico, I want to say Mexico City had a big UFO sightings too. That was pretty interesting. A whole bunch of people for like 5 days in a row saw a bunch of spaceships or something, like weird lights in the sky.
Got you.
So, and then apparently Philadelphia is also a hotbed of weird crap in the sky at night.
I don't think that's aliens.
Not just delicious
And
steak
It's
sandwiches.
not sandwiches.
Yeah.
It ain't Sammy's, bro.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like Portland. They've seen a bunch of alien sightings. No,
That's LSD.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just that weird person with half their head shaved, and it's pink, and then they have the stuff in their face, like they might look like aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was in Zimbabwe.
Is that not? Where's Zimbabwe? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Africa, but it is Zimbabwe.
Is it not South Africa? I feel bad if I gave the wrong.
I mean, it's
country.
That's why that's why we got the. Let's see if this would show up.
Zimbabwe.
Man, this is super slow. What the heck? I don't want that. But this is.
It looks like the guy that looks an awful lot like E.T. He wanted to fly home.
Yeah, I mean, so I remember them saying it was like black bodied, like big headed, like. But they drew pictures of it, and then I can't remember who brought them back together just recently, but they said that like it was.
You should reach out on.
There's where you're at.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that very much. I want to be as accurate as possible. Because then, like, if I say it the wrong way, I'm like, oh man, I'm an idiot.
Has Rogan ever talked about this?
I think he has.
They mentioned. I don't know. I don't remember if they talked.
I
about
think
it
on the
with-
Bob Lazar
They
episode,
may have talked about
they
the Bob Lazar
kind
one.
Is there an interview like with these kids?
of
There's something they brought them back together for some kind of film or documentary. I feel
yeah,
like.
there is someone making a show about it.
Yeah, I don't remember who did that.
I mean, I wouldn't. You move on in life. Like kids see weird crap. That's the other end of it, or experience life differently or through a different lens. And then you want to be in your mid 30s. Like, hey, remember when like some aliens came to your school? And you're like, like I don't know if I remember anything from like vividly from like the second grade. I mean, do you guys?
I think if you saw something like that, you would remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like maybe the
Let's watch
story of children encountering a closest experience. Oh, this is where he talks about. Oh, that wasn't theirs. No, that's what it was. They talked about it with Jacques Vallée and James Fox. Those are also two alien folks that talk about.
That's got to be a new episode then, isn't it? Newer.
Yeah, with Rogan, it was 1574 with Jacques Vallée and James Fox.
I know the name Jacques Vallée. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he's the guy that I think did a lot of the story writing and a lot of the journalistic stuff for like the kids in Zimbabwe and looked into all those cases. And I think those are the ones that like just this year, the FBI or the Pentagon comes out and goes, yeah, here's some UFO videos.
See,
And that was it. And they were just walked
Yeah.
away from it.
Right.
They said, here's some UFO
Is
videos.
that
See you
the stuff
later.
where the TikTok
Like,
came from and
what?
all that?
Yeah,
That was
is it-
2017 because I remember seeing that like before it came out, and I remember showing my
Well, they've
wife
been out.
when it came. I know, like I
But
saw
they're
when I
saying,
was
yeah,
like,
these are real.
and I'm like, okay, I've seen these before, and she's like, no, I'm like,
Yeah, it was
it's no big deal.
It was the
TikTok
is the one with David Fravor,
Yeah.
which did you listen? Have you listened to his podcast with Lex Friedman?
I listened to the whole thing,
That's a fantastic and anybody.
but he brought up that Jeremy Corbell, which I'm sorry, like it gives me a weird feeling deep down in my gut.
well, that's good to me. That's like it goes back to the whole like, all right, did you get abducted or do you just have some mental issues?
There's
that you need to
there's
work
two
out?
things though with Jeremy Corbell. Like I think that you need somebody like to be. I mean, David Fraser's very like lax about it. I feel like, which is cool. He's very willing to talk about it, but he keeps bringing. He mentioned like during that because you told me about that Lex dude who I've heard before, but I didn't realize who he was. But when they bring up these guys, it's like you need someone. You need to tell your story. You need someone to help you tell your story, especially when you get to a certain level. You end up on like Joe Rogan. But at the same time, I'm like.
Why this guy?
Yeah.
You're just too excited, bro. You're making
Yeah,
it seem
like
weird.
why are like it just kind of I mean, I've never been abducted by aliens, but or seen anything weird, but at the same time like you got to kind of like you got to question the authenticity at some point.
Yeah, but I think if that interview with Commander David Fravor with Lex Friedman is a great place for anybody who wants to spend any amount of time to go, okay, I'm going to give this whole alien thing a shot.
And it was a lot.
I'm going to give it a window of opportunity, and I'm going to listen. It's a long interview, but you hear a former naval commander just describe what he saw, and then also the fact all of the facts in the the bullet points in that story that multiple people saw it. He wasn't the only one there. There was somebody in the jet with him. They had his wing partner. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, but she doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah,
anymore.
but she was in there. Like they had, and then the video didn't come from him. It came from a separate team of jet fighter pilots they were in the same area, and they saw it weeks later.
What I like on Rogan is when he switches from view to view because they play it.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Oh, you got to watch it on Joe Rogan because it gives it. So like that. Whatever you're talking about, I listened to the whole thing, and I like that he talks more about his bio than the UFO sighting. And it's very interesting. He's a very smart guy who's done, and he's an impressive life.
Yeah, it doesn't get much more credible than some dude that's been flying jets and was a commander for 30 years.
The interviewer gives you, like, he doesn't just go right to aliens and weird stuff. He talks about, what do you know? How do you fly an airplane? How can you speak to this to the people that aren't?
This is on Rogan or Lex Friedman?
Lex Friedman.
And he even talks about they even go into just like general air combat,
right?
And how like jets fight and how the whole they just talk about
And when you listen to it on Rogan,
it's
a little different. It's the same story, and David Frere is he's kind of got he's got a story down pretty good. But it's cool because if you watch it on YouTube, they flip from screen. So every time you see what David Frere can speak to exactly what you're seeing, whether it's the FLIR or whatever the view is, and then what's happening like play by play. And it's a different experience. Same story, different experience. And I like it like on Rogan as you're watching on YouTube because you can get the minute by minute play and you can see what's happening. And this guy's like, well, this is because the airplanes do this. He's talking about, you don't actually see anything in the jet fighter or whatever, but like you're watching the video and he's like, okay. And now when it clicks over, this is what you see.
What this means.
And this is what that means.
Yeah. Cause people will watch the videos on YouTube or whatever. And they're like,
that's
just
baloney.
It doesn't look like random video, like whatever. But then you hear a fighter pilot like talking about, well, this is the equipment that we're using. This is what it does. This is why it looks like this. And this is what we're doing. It's like, oh,
so what I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What do you guys think about like back in the day, the stories of Area 51 and like US military personnel that like were in the newspaper and like brought these stories to life? They didn't have YouTube, they didn't have Joe Rogan, they didn't have an audience. I mean, they had an audience, but not like we have accessibility, perhaps.
right.
And these stories that seem so sensational or, part of the Matrix or whatever, to
I think a lot of it is sensational.
It is, but like there's
that's
how do you
that's a question.
how do you dig through this? What's the difference between General Fravor and having the internet versus some dude who had like the Daily Record 60 years ago?
Well, to me, it's same. There's no. It's not, to me, it's not the same thing. To me, it's you look at someone like David Fravor and who's come out and proved him wrong. Who's come out and discounted his service? Like,
right.
To me, like, who's more credible? Me? Some dude with a... No, I'm just saying, me, some dude with a podcast, or somebody was served as a fighter pilot who Those aren't dumb dudes.
Right, but if a fighter pilot didn't have video captioning and you couldn't see it,
Right.
except on like the local news channel, would you have the same? Would you give that person the same credibility as you give David Fravor? Or a general General
Probably
General
not,
Joe
yeah.
Schmo, right?
Yeah.
And that's an interesting part of the story too that needs to be included. I think.
Yeah, because
too.
I think too, to your point, the more and more we move down this technological road with social media and all the internet and everything else, where it's
part of the simulation.
no, damn it. maybe it is. But the more and more opportunities that somebody has to be proved wrong, and they're not, the more and more credible they are. So back in the day, it took, you could see something in the paper and go, well, yeah, I could write a paper too and just say that. But then here's these fact checks and all these other things. But with the internet and what it is now, like a lot of this like public knowledge and everything and, public access where it's very easy to prove somebody wrong if they're lying. Mm-hmm. We had a guy on, Steve Naughton, who I told him to his face, I said, if I didn't know any better, I'd think you're just bullshitting me, because he tells this story about being in the Secret Service and, his time in the Air Force and all these different things. But that could probably, if someone wants to dig through that and prove him wrong and say he's just lying,
They could.
yeah, it's fairly easy to do these days with technology.
That sounds like an awesome episode.
You know what I mean? So like the more and more our technology goes down this road, we have the ability to prove people wrong, but we also have the ability to spew bullshit out there. And I think there's a lot of that.
Oh, I totally agree. I think the majority of it is bullshit.
Yeah.
I think the truth is like the people that actually are doing, see weird stuff is super, like it's not even 1%.
Right. But I think that's why to me,
But would you,
David Fravor's at the top of my
Right.
list, because he's
legit.
been on how many podcasts, he's done this, that, whatever. And I haven't seen anybody come out and say,
No.
yeah, no, this didn't happen. This isn't in the records. Guess what? He wasn't even a fighter pilot for 27 years. You know what I mean? Like,
No, totally.
Shit like that
totally.
happens all the time where someone
Yeah.
tells a story and it's like, yeah, no, that's not true.
Right, it'd be like me saying I'm a time traveler from 2021 and
2021. I would believe
Here.
you.
So how
Thanks,
shitty is 2021 going to be then?
Yeah,
please
please
pray
tell
tell.
us.
it's way worse than
Pray
2020.
tell.
I've been
There
saying
you go,
that for a
Fred.
long time.
Guess what?
2021.
Nothing changes.
I like to take a potty break and then can we get in the civilization thing that we touched on like an hour ago and we never actually got into because I think someone started talking about alien probes.
It's probably my fault. So, have you ever heard? I'm sorry. Speaking of alien probes, have you ever heard the Weird Al Yankovic? Are you a fan?
I've listened to his.
He's got this song called "Aluminum Foil." I don't know what parody it is of. It's hilarious. And he talks about being probed by a UFO or wearing a hat made of aluminum foil, and it is. And then he tells and then he mentions Illuminati. It's great.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of his older stuff.
Yeah, his old stuff's great, but this is fairly new. Like, I'm assuming it's a Katy Perry or a Madonna or something.
He's a wild dude. I
Yeah.
heard an interview with him a while back, and he's not as crazy as
No.
you expect him to be. He's
No.
just like, you know what? Like, I just like making silly songs.
Yeah, he's super silly.
Yeah. He's like, I just like being silly.
Do you gentlemen ever listen to Comedy Bang Bang or watch that? It's a podcast with Scott Ackerman. But for a while, Weird Al was the DJ, and it was so much fun.
I bet that was
Dude,
wild.
if you don't listen to Comedy Bang Bang, you should start fairly soon. It's super silly.
I will put that in my list
Yeah,
of
yeah.
things
If
to
you
check
like
out.
silly things, it's top notch. So
All right. I'm going to take a break real quick. Everyone makes a kid at some point. Yeah.
Even if they don't know, they make it.
that's right. Even if they're somewhere else.
Cheers to that. Good sir.
Salud, gentlemen.
Yeah, salut.
Everyone makes a kid at some point.
Even if
That bathroom break brought to you by Everybody Makes a Kid at some point.
Yeah. Nobody's shooting blanks here.
Oh,
back to one ball only.
full circle. Kids are hard, man.
Dude, they are.
Yeah, I mean, says the guy with the most out of all of us
Yeah.
here
You
combined.
said four? Boys?
Four
Four
curly
boys.
headed,
Four boys.
blonde haired little looks like you know what it is. It looks like a Beach Boys album cover.
It does. it freaking does.
How is that, man? Because I obviously everyone that's heard the pod, or at least most of the podcast, I feel like every other episode I'd mention I have one daughter, but 4 boys.
Yeah.
I think it takes a temperament like yours to be able to deal with that.
I'm just mad and tired all the time.
I can't imagine that you there's any time. How often do you have 4 boys that are worn out? Because they're not that far apart in age either, right?
No, my oldest is 9 and my youngest is 3.
Ooh, wow.
That is a hurricane.
It is. And it's like the Tasmanian devil just going to town. It stops when you put on Star Wars. And it kicks back up like 30 minutes in.
See, that's your 30 minutes. You put it on and go, all right, we got 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Oh, man. I mean,
It's like WWF, but it never stops. It's like having Macho Man and The Undertaker in the same room. And they're just yelling at each other.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh! Or like Jake the Snake shows up for a few minutes and is like fucking boa constrictor. And
That's awesome.
That's got to be a jungle, man.
It is.
I can't even imagine.
No. I went to San Francisco one time with a buddy of mine for a week. And we were in like, I don't know, like Chinatown. Which if you're immediately think of that Kurt Russell movie, Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. Same place. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like, where is all the weird stuff? But anyway, they sell like wooden swords and wooden nunchucks. Oh. So like I got rid of all my clothes and brought home ninja weapons that are made of wood on an airplane.
Did you win an award for that? For
I did
Dad
not.
of the Year?
I did not. But I got the crap kicked out of me like immediately. I don't regret a minute of it, but it hurt real bad. And it was glorious because like they all ended in Ninja Turtles, like little Michelangelo, little Raphael.
Oh,
I spent every cent I had on that trip on tiny ninja
Wooden
weapons. And my buddy took home all my clothes.
Oh, man.
That's what it's like.
It's just a hurricane and awesomeness all at the same time. Yeah, the wife's been trying to not convince me. It hasn't gotten to convincing level yet, but she's been like, well, first she started off with like pup, because everyone's getting a puppy.
Yeah,
because it's
that's the first step.
Yeah, well, it's COVID. It's 2020. Everything else is fucked up, so might as well get a puppy because you're home. Working so get a dog, right? I'm like, no, that sounds like a terrible idea because I mean, like everyone we know, Manchek just got a puppy.
Did he?
Cute little puppy. It's a red.
Like a setter or something?
It's not a setter. It's I've never even.
It's a pair of boots, isn't it?
Really good looking dog, but regardless, and then she's like, we could adopt. I'm like,
yeah. Remember the last time? What happened when you got another dog besides the dog
You had a
have now?
pit bull. I swear to God, you had a pit bull.
we did.
Okay.
And man, we don't want to piss too many people off with the whole pit bull thing.
Let's turn off the microphone, dude.
People get real.
Dude, if you're going to talk about it, tell the backstory of like it was a rescue dog.
So we've rescued 2 pit bulls throughout our time.
Really?
Yeah. One we had, and I'm sure I'll get some mental hate for this sent my way.
Pray for you.
We had one that, we had one before our child was born, and it was the sweetest. Like, literally would not hurt a fly. Like, literally our kid, and this is not just like we put our kid right in front of a pit bull and said, "Hey, have fun." So, like. It was
why not?
Yeah, it was a very. There's a lot of time in between these two things, but like she learned to crawl and she would crawl over to it, and the dog would like lay down, like as the kid got while she was literally crawling, would lay down and then lay on its side, roll over on its back, which is a submissive thing for a dog to do, and it would lay there and it would stretch its neck out to her, and the like baby just learning how to crawl would. Reach up and grab the dog's like lips and just yank and pull, and the dog would just relax even more. He just loved it. Eventually ate a sock and died. So there's
Are you
just
serious?
blocked its bowels.
Oh my
It
god.
died.
Well, they were called like the mother-in-law dog or something weird like that in England.
They're super protective.
Yeah.
And they're super people. But
Apparently, they super eat socks too.
yeah, well, the problem, I think
My childhood dog ate socks, and it was a Sheltie, and we had to make it puke, and it would puke up fucking tube socks.
Jeez.
And the dog was like that big.
yeah, we never realized, like, you know, obviously you can't realize that. So if you don't see the dog eat something, but something's wrong with it, it ended up blockage.
Right. No, I get you. It's terrible.
Yeah. So and then we rescued another one just in the last few years. Beautiful dog, super good natured, would go out and play with our daughter. And we were obviously very careful because, I mean, it was a dog that the only person that I would play with it a little rougher just to kind of test it. But it was, I mean, I think she was like 70 pounds of just pure muscle. Like we had like those ropes with the knots that tie in them.
Yeah.
So we had one of those, and I was the only one that was allowed playing with her with that because she'd just get aggressive. Well, not aggressive, but just a dog playing. But she was so strong that, you know, like kid would pick up the rope. No. Like you can't play with the rope with the dog because it might just, you know, like it would not nip me, but it would catch the rope and it would catch my hand. And it's just so strong that it, you know, but I'd be able to pick it up.
Yeah, Sadie, my old dog would do that. Like, you could hold onto the rope and, like,
Yeah,
lift the
pick the dog
dog
up.
over your head.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
But, yeah, especially like it's like a 70, 80 pound dog. It's like, man, like that's a lot. But then it just one day just started getting aggressive out of nowhere. Never went for people, but we have a small dog, like a 12-pound dog.
That beauty I met when I came in?
Yeah. It's a
Beauty.
she's something. She's a Dotsie pin. So it's like a Dotson and a miniature pinscher mixed. It has this little underbite, whatever.
Dude, that thing is like the fucking Usain Bolt of miniature dogs. Like, I'm not lying, bro. That thing has like fucking flames behind it when it runs. It is so goddamn fast. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but
I
it
need to
spends
see this before.
yeah,
It doesn't make any sense. It looks like a fucking fat sausage, and it's so fast.
yeah, and then it's got these ears because the Dawson just flapping in the wind, and she's become more. And it's weird because since we had to get rid of the other dog because it got aggressive. We're like, look, like, you know, we don't feel comfortable having this dog around like little kids. Just like it never bit anybody at all, but it started getting aggressive towards the other dog, and it was like, oh, this is weird. Like, and it gave, you know, the wife anxiety.
Sure.
And obviously having a kid and having little nieces and nephews, like, you know, I think people owning pit bulls is fine, but you have to be responsible with them. It's not because, to me, it's not because pit bulls are necessarily more aggressive or are more likely to bite humans than any other dog, but just their power and their strength. They just have strength that a lot of dogs don't have. So, and it ended up we ended up finding a home for it.
Oh, cool.
They had 2 pit bulls that were bigger. Like, so we figured this is probably a good, you know,
Good fit,
yeah, it'll fit in with the, you know, the lineage, not the lineage, but, you know, the chain of the dogs, and it'll, you know, work out well there. No, ended up trying to attack one of those dogs too.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so it was like, all right, this dog's just obviously didn't sit well with it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's too bad.
you have to be. I think that's, to me, that people lose that idea of just because it's a pit bull doesn't mean it's going to attack people.
Right.
But if it does,
But if it does, yeah,
it's
like
going to be more than if a Chihuahua. does.
yeah, it's kind of like the whole. I mean, we've
You're
talked
bringing
about
a wild animal into your
Yes.
house, and you
Thank
can't
you.
always take the animal out of the critter. You know.
yeah, you
Right.
can't take the animal out of people.
Yeah, I mean, look at the meth heads like that.
Yeah, you look at
Turns into
bath
a-
salts.
God
People
forgive
remember
me.
that was a
I
big
don't
thing. People
Yeah.
eating bath salts
Down
and
in
eat people's
Florida,
faces
like,
off.
yeah,
They're
zombie-
delicious. Have you ever
zombie
had
people.
them?
A face, a good.
Yeah.
Man, you can't beat a good old face.
You cannot. You cannot. That cheek
It's good.
little Frank's Red Hot on that bad boy.
I do. I put that shit on everything,
Dude,
and that's
you can't
not even a commercial.
Have you ever? You know,
You finally got it.
I love Red Hot. I love
I do.
hot sauce.
I never realized. Like I started doing that, and I'm like,
Do you know what the best is? It's extremely time consuming. But pizza rolls and Frank's Red Hot. Bite the end off, fill it with Red Hot.
Oh, I could see that.
Takes a long time, but it's worth it.
That
They should
sounds
make
like 30 minutes later, I'd need a diaper after that.
that. No, 20 minutes.
Yeah, you get a little bit. Of a
You
window
might
in there.
eat like 30 pizza rolls before you get there, but it's happening.
That maybe you should pitch that to them. That's a good idea. Red hot pizza rolls.
Oh my gosh.
Could you? That's just
Comes with a side of Pepto.
Yeah. How could you even get better slogan than that? Red hot pizza rolls. Like,
Dag on. Do you guys ever
take on.
do you guys ever get that local dude's pizza or hot sauce? Local sheets, dirty sheets. Is that what it's
I've
called?
heard of it before.
Super-
Yeah, it's called dirty sheets.
Dude, it's so good. It is so hot too, but it is.
Fits
it
in with the
is
diaper usage.
does.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Dirty sheets.
they know what's up. They know what's up.
I've never heard of it. It's,
Yeah, you should have him on
Is
your
it
podcast.
around Worcester? or-
Yeah,
Who is it?
Josh Sheets.
Okay.
Josh Sheets.
Yeah, it's really good. I would if I'm going to recommend anything, I'm going to recommend that.
Yeah, I've
It's
never.
spicy.
Spicy
What sort of
meatballs.
Scoville index are we talking here?
You know, I'm not one to pay attention to the Scoville, but they have one called like funky sheets or something. It's pretty hot. The other stuff, it's nice. Like it's not just heat. It's like you get a full flavor too, which is nice. But
Yeah.
it's hot enough for like the hot sauce guys to be like, this is hot.
Gotcha.
But it's also like
There's flavor in that heat.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that killed me. People had like just eating hot to eat hot. Like that doesn't make sense.
When I got married, someone gave me a bottle of this stuff called 100% Pain. I had it for like a decade. Dude, it would just light your colon on fire. Like the whole way. It was like brutal hot.
I don't think I want my colon to be on fire.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on
Yeah,
that.
I would pass on that. It was fun. It was fun to like have someone come over. It was like, I can handle anything. Here's some
Can
like,
you handle
gelatinous heat.
your colon being on fire?
It can. Apparently, it can.
We're about to
Scientifically.
find out.
Street. Well, I fell into a burning ring of fire.
Yeah.
But that's what that song's really about. It's a
I think it
bunghole
is.
on fire.
I think it is.
Went down, had some ghost chili sauce. And
I did that at a restaurant the one time where I think it was like a BW3s. But I went there, I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I feel like some hot wings, just the normal hot, just enough to like, you have that really good flavor and it's spicy. Great. Brought them out. And I'm like, man, these smell hot. So I started eating. I got like through one. I was like my mouth was almost like, it was watering so much where it was like numb, but like my face hurt.
oh, dude,
And I'm like, dude, like,
I can't handle that.
dude, yeah, me either. I'm like, this isn't like the waitress came back and I'd gotten them like into my second one. She's like, how's it? How's everything? I said, and I'm not a complainer. I'm a good tipper. I don't like to complain, but I was like, it's not good. She's like, what? I was like, this. I said, this is not just hot. She was like, well, that's just the normal hot recipe. I said, no. I said, I can handle some hot stuff. I can handle pain. I said, this is disturbing. And she was like, well, what do you want me to do? And I said, I don't know. I said, I feel really bad. I said, but I'm not eating these.
Well,
Like, I can't.
their super hot is almost unedible.
That's what this, to me, it was like, this was like, if I dumped a bunch of Red Hot, Frank's Red Hot on top of it, like, I can
You'd
eat
have to
that.
drink a quart of that to equivalent the pain.
Yeah, like, I can
that
eat, like,
comes out of
literally,
your
like-
asshole in like 3 hours.
Well, like, we
And
cooked.
that's the real problem. It's not when you eat it. It's later.
Yeah, but that's the problem is when you're eating it and you're going, holy shit, like, this hurts.
Right.
This is painful.
Dude, I saw some fantastic heat one time. I had a elementary school friend, and he was from India. His family was from India, and his mom had this garden, and it was him and this other dude who was like abnormally large for being the same age as us. I'm sure like you guys went to school with that dude who was bigger.
Like, are we talking large, like they hit
tall,
puberty soon?
or
Or,
like-
he
like
was just
a
like,
tiny
bro,
man?
your parents like fed you way too many
All-
donuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a
Both.
250-pound
Yeah, dude.
15-year-old.
He was like yeah, almost like a man, and we were just these like 8-year-old kids.
Smoking cigarettes.
No, he was 100%. He literally
Full
was smoking
mustache.
cigarettes. We'd go to his house, we went through his dad's trailer, and we'd break into the gun safe, and we'd take these guns out, and we'd
Jesus
shoot
Christ.
bats. Dude, we were like 10 years old or something.
I went to school with a whole classroom of those. Yeah.
Probably knew this guy. So, dude, he was like, "Hey, I can do anything. Like, nothing's gonna hurt me. Nothing's gonna harm me." So we're playing at my Indian friend's house. Mom has the garden. Mom has peppers in the garden. Oh. And he was like, pretty much saying how he can eat anything. And my Indian friend was like, "You can't eat those peppers without crying."
I double dog dare you.
And he was like, "I can
Watched that
100%
last
eat
night.
those peppers." And I was like, "Dude, I'll literally give you $20." And $20 when you're 10
That's
years
a
old,
shit ton
that's
of
a lot
money.
of money. And I was like,
I'll
"I'll
buy
give
you
you."
like a paper porno or
Yeah,
something.
I was like, a paper porno. That's like 3, bro. Come on.
And a bag of chips.
Yeah, this is the 90s we're talking about here.
Yeah, more importantly, a bag
And
of chips.
And some Hubba Bubba.
So, dude, he grabs this pepper and he bites it. And, dude, I don't know what this pepper was. I don't know if there were variations back then of the boot jolokia or what they were, but, dude, you just saw it build, and it was beautiful. I was like, "Yep, I'm keeping my $20." Dude, the tears that came from his face, bro, he cried a 6th grade lake. Like, it was incredible. It was incredible.
There's something like
that's amazing.
it doesn't matter how big or how strong, something chemically.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
your
yeah.
body interacts with certain chemicals, like you can't, like pepper spray,
Oh yeah.
unless you're on PCP.
Freaking capsaicin in there is just
Yeah.
brutal.
Do you guys ever watch that YouTube channel, Hot Ones, where they interview like famous people and they eat chicken wings and they start at this Scoville and they work all the way up, and it's amazing, dude. It is interesting as heck because like what they talk about, who cares what celebrities think? But as they're eating, the reaction is some of them like you don't expect are
Yeah.
eating like the hottest, and they're like, "I'm fine." And then you have like some dude who's probably killed somebody.
Yeah.
And he's just like weeping. And you're like, "What is going on?"
I think that's
It's fantastic. It's a great waste of like 3 hours.
well, it's an interesting thing too. Like, well, it's just like the chemical part of it. Like we just mentioned, like it's so interesting how different people are that can be so similar. But
I love hot stuff, but like chicken wings, dude, I can only eat them like if I'm not doing anything the next day because
well, that might be the grease too. Mixed
it
in
might
with
be,
the spice.
and that's I give it more credit to the grease because I'm done. Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eat chicken wings.
Yep.
I'll see you
Yeah,
in
mark-
48 hours because you ain't getting me nowhere the day after.
I do that with
I can eat
fast.
some chicken wings right now though, but so
I guess I don't have some. I can make some.
Oh, dude. I wish we could grab some chicken wings for my buddy down in Nashville.
let's
If I
go to
can-
Nashville right now.
Dude, if
It's
I can,
8
if I can,
hours from
this is a
here.
shameless plug here, but if I can ever bring some back for you, like hands down, like dude, I will throw $100 bill on the table right now and go. If you've ever had better chicken wings, or he does wings and thighs, and dude, if you've had better, $100 bill's yours.
Really?
Like dude, smokes them with pecan wood. It's called Thunderbird Chicken. His name's Trace Scarborough, and it is unbelievable.
I'm down. I'm down right now. My
you go.
my buddy can make some mean smoked chicken wings.
I think a good
And smoked anything though is great. Even if you don't smoke it well.
Every once in a while, sometimes people. I don't. Maybe it's just the wood they use, but like this, it's almost
too
like too.
much.
Yeah, you can almost
smoky.
you have to know what there's
Maybe
a
it's an
science
art.
to yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
'Cause
an
you
art
can't-
even.
It is. But like if you have that, especially like pork, oh my gosh, that is like a life-changing experience. And you have like smoked meats. I find like a smoked pulled pork. Holy cow.
I wonder how do you.
I'd give my right nut for that.
Oh wow, that's a lot less than 200.
I would.
was
I
gonna
would.
say,
I would.
I had
switch
some
it-
of Carl's ribs
As,
in the,
as
in
of
the,
right
in
now,
the freezer.
I will go from $200,000 to like a good smoked.
a good.
I thought you were just going to reduce.
That's
the
on the
200.
internet now.
He just straight canceled the 200 and said,
just a good
Pork.
smoked
Smoked
pork,
pork.
or does it have to be like a great smoked?
I said good.
like,
I was-
first-
I
I'm
know
a
you
man of my
said
word.
good. I'm offering you.
I didn't say
Yeah.
great. I said good.
Okay.
That's a
Good.
fine line between good and great.
Yeah.
If you went to excellent, both.
I was
but-
talking to Carl the other day.
yeah.
He was in person. He does some good Good barbecue.
Super good, man. His like
He listens too. He even mentioned the podcast.
he listens to it.
I mean, he's listened to at least one because he mentioned it.
Is this
There
a
you
person
go.
that smokes meat?
Yeah, his name's
Yeah.
is it what's his company called? Is it
yeah,
Anytime
look
Barbecue?
He's got a company.
Yeah, they do. They used to go to the fair and
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll look it up. It's
public
so it's
gathering.
Josh Kroll, dude. Amazing man. He did it for my daughter's birthday parties, and he did brisket and ribs. Does amazing pulled pork. Like just knows how to smoke food.
Yeah, after hours.
After hours, excuse me. Sorry.
After hours barbecue. Yeah, they do
After
really,
hours
local,
barbecue.
Local dude does fantastic meats.
I wish our
They do
area
sides,
had
too.
way
Yeah.
more like meat, like barbecue, smoky.
Yeah, well, it's Ohio. Not
Dude, I
Louisiana.
know,
Well,
I know, but I'm just saying, like in general, like come on, like it's too like
Well, I think it's funny where
is it so regional that we can't have like a decent place?
well, people are like, oh, well, you have Old Carolina barbecue. I'm like, that's not barbecue.
Dude, their chicken wings are actually pretty legit. Did you
I've
eat
never
those?
been there. I've always wanted to go, but
It's
I've
Their
never,
decent.
chicken wings. Well, have you had the chicken
I don't know
wings?
if I've had the chicken
Yeah,
wings.
Orville
dude, try 'em.
seems
I think
way
you'll
too
be. I think
far
you'll be
away.
pleasantly surprised.
like that's
It's
like
not bad, but there's
it's
nothing
like 10
else.
minutes. Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is
Applebee's,
There is something else.
BW3,
There's Omaha Bob's.
C Dubs.
Even better.
Okay.
After hours barbecue.
There you go. After hours
After hour-
barbecue.
This
He does-
podcast is brought to you by.
After hours barbecue.
Yeah. No, he does, and they do they do
Call up
things
Josh Kroll and get you,
You
some
should have
delicious
him on and
smoked
just
meats.
talk about meats. Joe Rogan has like 45 minutes
Get
of
some
like
elk on here. We'll smoke it
of
while we're on the
fucking-
podcast.
yes!
My house would never smell the same. No, but they'll even do things where like there'll be a weekend where they say, hey, like this weekend we're doing a bunch of stuff. You can put it because they do sides
Yeah.
and everything. Like you can get just a meal, or you can be like, hey, I want 2 pounds of brisket, and
Dude,
you can
it
go
is
and pick
good.
it up.
I want 4 pounds.
Whatever brisket,
Have you ever
whatever.
smoked a smoked egg where it's like a hard boiled egg?
Is it
but
the
they-
Scottish egg?
No, this is just like an egg on like a smoker.
Isn't that what Scottish eggs? Don't
No,
they smoke them?
they have like sausage on it.
Okay.
Like, they wrap it in like a meat. I was just
I
reading
don't
about that
even know
today.
how you guys know that.
Dude.
What is that?
It, like you can make it at home. You just barbecue an egg. You put like an egg on the grill. And
Dude, they're awesome.
they're incredible. But that Scottish egg, I was reading about that today. Before,
Those are-
like an hour before I came here. I've never wanted anything more badly in my life.
I'm telling you, man, it's that energy. These
Yeah.
subjects, and we're just hitting on them.
Yeah, the Scottish egg. It's like you roll it. You hard boil an egg.
Yeah.
You roll it in paprika,
Hard
salt and
cooked egg,
pepper, and
flour,
sausage.
Place on a sausage patty. That
Sounds awesome.
does something. I'm not a big egg guy.
Who cares? Are you a big
I
sausage
feel like
guy?
someone was like, they just whipped a bunch of shit together and they said fuck it, and they
You know
came
what?
up with that.
They were
It's like,
drinking
you know
a
what?
lot of scotch. They were like 5 cups into a
fuck
glass
it.
of 30-year-old scotch.
Just throw it in.
They were done playing golf for the day,
Yeah.
and they're like, I got some
It
eggs,
takes too
and I got
much
some.
to eat all of my eggs and sausage on one plate. I'm gonna wrap it up together.
I mean, this is the culture that makes haggis. So I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
let's talk about haggis for a while. Sheep intestine full of spices and
Yeah. Well,
different
well,
meats.
have you ever heard of that? What's
Sounds awesome.
who's that dude that that does the tail to the
I know you're
the
talking
nose to tail
The-
or whatever
the-
diet?
yeah,
where he talks about the
the
like
carnivore diet.
yeah, like eating the organs and like all
The
like,
organ
the
meat.
the liver and the heart and like how there's like a whole lot of benefits and vitamins and all
I'm
these
sure
things.
it's wonderful.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's part of we've gotten
I just
away
like the
from
word haggis.
haggis.
Yeah.
It's weird because as much as I don't want to be like, ooh, like
You
you think
kinda
of
want
like,
it, though,
hey,
at the same time.
I want to stuff this thing
These tubes
into an
need-
intestine
Yeah.
that like had stuff in it already that shouldn't be edible, and we're gonna stuff it again with
I
stuff
mean,
that's
sheep
supposedly
just
edible.
eat like grass, right? So like,
Yeah.
it's grass-fed haggis.
Have you guys ever had a?
I mean, people go ape crap over that stuff. So
Maybe just leave it at-
grass-fed beef.
Is it to Durkin? Is that what it is?
to-
jerkin?
yeah,
Have you guys ever had that?
I have
No.
not.
I haven't
I've heard
either.
it's delicious, but I've heard was it was it really greasy?
Duck is greasy.
That's
It
I've never
can
had
be.
duck.
It can be. I've had some good duck and I've had some bad duck.
I've never had any duck.
I've had Harold the duck. Or no, that's not right. Sorry.
Hair of the dog.
No. It's a comic book. It's about a duck.
Some,
They made a
some
movie. but
Fagua. No, I had wood duck. and it was
Fagua. Isn't that
smoked.
the duck eggs
The-
or something?
No. It's the fatty liver, I think, is what it is.
Oh,
but
that's
it's
right, it's the
outlawed.
liver.
It's
Yeah,
outlawed.
it's illegal.
What's the
The
egg?
eggs you said?
Yeah, what is it? It's like
duck eggs. That's what they're
Well,
called.
there are duck eggs. Are you thinking like the bird egg, that nasty
Yes.
egg that
which
they-
is it's
it's
like
in, it's in Asia?
it's in like an incubator.
Oh my god. Is that
Egg.
like, and it still has the yolk and stuff in it? And
Yeah, it's like it's that stage in between where the
Nope.
Do you get chickens yet, Fred?
No,
That's too bad.
I've thought about it,
Dude,
We've
I had a
talked about
hawk eat it. So, like 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, this is random. I had a hawk like fly down and
Snag
get one
it-
of my chickens and
snag a
ate it in my
chicken?
backyard.
Some chicken McNuggets?
Yeah, and like
Did
ripped
you-
the head off.
Did you take a video and send it to Nature is Metal?
I did not, but I should have because that would have been dope. I
Have you-
love
do
that
you-
Instagram
do
page.
you love
It is
to
my
call it-
favorite. But my kids, like my oldest son, was like, I'm like upstairs. I'm looking like, oh no, a hawk got a chicken. And the next thing you're all like 9-year-olds, they're like just throwing, like running out, just like biffing stuff at this hawk, and the hawk is like,
Yeah, I'm eating.
what are you doing? I'm having some lunch. I'm having some fast food here.
That's wild.
And I go outside. I literally walk over. I'm like, from me to you, from this hawk. I pick up this dead chicken with no head on it, throw it in the garbage can, and the hawk just stares at me like,
Bro.
you took my lunch.
Yeah, it's like
And then I felt, and then
the
I'm like,
waitress coming around too early. And
yeah, and you're like,
not
I'm
even
not
asking
done
if
with
you're
my
done with
water
that.
yet. Thank you. And I'm like, what's this hawk gonna do? And it hung out in my backyard for a while, and I'm like, okay, number one, did I do the wrong thing? Should I have let it eat that chicken?
Nope.
Number two, it's going
tell
to
you
come
what I'm
back
doing.
for more chickens. Number three, that chicken was not scared of me at all, and I threw like all sorts of crap. I threw like
Hawks are badass.
dude, they are. It was huge. I gotta show you a picture.
Cass saw an eagle
Really?
the other
I
week.
saw it
Just right
on
around,
the
like-
gram.
yeah,
I
just
think
right
she
around
took
here.
pictures of
Yeah,
it.
they're more prevalent, man. There's one that's on my road that I've seen.
there's
before. I
gotta
have
be
some
next-
cool
What's
pictures.
that like crappy campground, Perrysville campground or something down
there's a lot of them
there,
around
down
here.
by like Road 3? They have they have like posts up in the lake for the hawks.
Yeah. Well, that and,
This thing is bonkers, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, check this. This is terrible.
Hawks are badass. Well, there used to be a ton of eagles up in Sandusky.
Yeah.
I saw them years ago, but now they're moving down.
I
here.
think when
Akron
you and
has a
I
couple
went
nests.
to like, look at this thing. When you and I went with like to Cedar Point, we saw a bunch of.
that's
bald
where they started. Years
Look at
ago.
that thing. That's in my backyard,
wild.
dude. Yeah, it's like 2 feet tall.
What if you would have just killed it and ground it up and fed it to the rest of your chickens?
I thought about it. I also thought about like, I wonder if it would taste like chicken.
Yeah, but you couldn't tell this story right now because that's
No.
Yeah,
No.
that's not
Illegal.
cool now, and I get in trouble.
That's
Have
illegal.
a bunch of like
The old game
PETA
warden knocking at
people.
the door.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, that's
come
like
on,
the whole
game
like,
warden.
eagle thing.
I'm a vegetarian.
I just raise the chickens because they're my friends.
I like them. I do. They're my friends.
until you eat them.
They're delicious.
Do
but
you or do you guys eat them or you just do the eggs?
we're
and
just doing
then-
eggs right now, but we might get meat chicken someday.
What
Are
kind,
they
what kind of
different?
chickens do you? Yeah,
We have
you got any silkies?
no, but I'm getting till sick because
Oh my gosh.
we've had
Yeah,
two,
I'm not.
we've had
I'm not in
two
the chicken
die.
world now. I'm
dude, this is-
chronically curious.
Dude.
Tell me about your chickens.
we had started with 4 or 5. We're down to 3.
Okay.
So we have 2. I got to look at this because I can't remember the names of these things.
Bro, wait,
don't blame me.
wait till you see the. Have you ever seen a silky chicken?
They're awesome.
Are
They
they the ones with like the crazy, like they look like they have a crazy headdress?
they have
and, like,
plumes.
stuff?
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
"Hey!"
Plumes and they're all fuzzy and
Yeah.
they look ridiculous.
They're in a cartoon movie with like drug addicts.
I will. No, I'm not gonna.
Hang on. So like we had we have yeah, we do. My internet's not working.
Oh,
We have a gray one.
Okay.
It's a something
it's,
blue.
we're kind of in a bunker here. I can.
Yep.
What are you trying to look for? I can.
I can't even tell you, man.
I can. I
if
can
you
give
get
my
on
Wi-Fi
Instagram-
password.
You can if you go to my Instagram, I can tell you real
I
quick.
say if you want to connect to the Wi-Fi, I will give you
sorry.
my password.
Here's my pictures aren't showing up.
Oh.
But I have yeah. Chickens.
We've thought about getting chickens out
They're
here.
fun.
See, if I want to get chicken, I want to get. So can you not do meat chickens and egg
No.
chickens in like unison, or
No,
can you
I,
eat?
see, I think you have to raise them differently though. Like I don't think
It's
you
like-
can put them together. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's
I
a
could be
bummer.
totally off
Because
base, but
I thought it'd be really sweet to have like egg chickens, and then like, all right,
I can't
all
do
right,
it.
Cynthia, you're getting a little
Yeah.
old. We're gonna eat you now.
right.
your egg production's down.
I have one.
We're
that's
gonna
like,
eat you.
That's like black and gray.
Dude, what about falconry? Do you ever think about getting into that?
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
and
but
that is
that's-
a Fred thing.
I
Fred
feel-
looks at the
He's got
guy
some land out
who would
here.
have a falcon.
I feel like you'd have to really like, I don't know. You have to really get into some weird
No, you have to be awesome.
laws and stuff like that for falconry.
Or you could just step it up a notch and just skip straight from the falcon to the berkut.
I think you should go
Like
to
in-
the zoo and steal some fucking condors. Oh. And be a man and raise some condors.
No.
Those
the,
things
the
are- you know,
berkut. Golden
no,
eagles
no.
all day, every
All
day.
day.
No, you know what it is? Osprey.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
Fishing, bro. Get some fishing.
We'll train osprey to guard your house
That would be awesome.
because there's some mean. No, I know you make that weird.
No.
look.
I'm
No.
listening. I'm interested.
When I was a
'Cause it's
kid, I always
they
thought
eat
an
fish.
osprey was the better bird of prey than everybody else.
So
Or
ospreys
the
are
peregrine falcon.
ospreys.
Those two specifically.
Have like at least 3 balls because they are ballsy.
That's a weird brag.
No, we're talking about balls. You know, they're gutsy. So for work, I'll fly in a helicopter. Every year, occasionally I have to fly in a helicopter. And they will, every once in a while,
Yeah, I
we'll come
can't get
across an
online.
osprey nest.
Yeah.
They attacking the helicopter.
They'll chase the helicopter to get them away from the nest. They'll straight for it. Like, well, I don't think you understand what you're messing with, but the fact that bird is willing to actively chase something that's 500 times its size.
Yeah.
Even though those are big birds, they're nasty. They're aggressive.
I wish I had the balls to do that.
What, chase a helicopter?
No, chase, yeah. 300, something 300 times my size. You know, that third ball would come in
Yeah.
extra handy.
It's wild, man.
It'd be like trying to beat up a blue whale.
It would. I would do that in a minute.
Sounds like a terror. And the blue whale's like, what? I don't. what
Did
do
you ever see those videos of like people kayaking and all of a sudden the blue whale surfaces?
I,
And
did,
they're
I
like,
just saw. Did you see the one just recently where it swallowed somebody?
no.
Yeah.
Well, get it up there. Let's
Yeah,
see.
dude. They
Is his
literally-
name
all
Jonah?
someone-
Please tell me
Yeah,
his name's Jonah.
They literally made jokes about that.
Did it spit them out or what?
I
Did it,
Come out the
did it
bowl.
swallow or spit? What kind of whale are we talking about here? Is it a nasty whale or what?
Nasty whale. I have one buff Brahma, one blue copper Marin,
Okay.
and 2 barred rocks.
Nice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They are
I don't know anything.
Did you
You
say
said.
the bar rock or the bowel rock?
barred. I hope it's Balrock. If it's
Be a
not
mean chicken that breathes fire.
barred, BARRED rock.
The bar.
They're fun as heck. Like I like to pick them up and be like, I got my chickens. Stupid. It's a stupid hobby. It cost me like building a chicken coop so much money.
Oh yeah, it's only 15 seconds. Here we go. I think this is it. If it loads. That's weird.
Is it muted? Should we Mystery Science Theater this?
We should. I think we should overdub it completely.
What the heck? Oh. I don't think this is
paddle
it.
boarding.
What the heck's going on with this?
There's no protection on a paddle board.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, look at that.
stars.
The whole kayak is inside the whale's mouth.
Can you do that again?
I hate when people put words on stuff. Oh, there we go. Look at that. The dude, he was inside the whale's mouth.
It spit them out then?
I think so. Oh yeah.
So it was a woman?
Okay. It looks like it. I don't know.
Why
yeah.
Why isn't she wearing a GoPro?
I don't know. Look, all the fish are like, get the
Yeah.
fuck up, bitch. Go.
The fish are like, nah.
No, I'm out.
Dude, did you ever watch Shark Week on like online when they have like that feeding the fish bowl or whatever, where like the sharks and the whales and the
Dude, hold
dolphins all come together?
You think that whale was like, tastes like a Karen.
Oh, that
This
sucks.
is a hint of Karen.
Oh man, I have
I hope so.
I have a person I work with whose
Her
name is
name's
Karen,
Karen.
and she's awesome.
Yeah.
I love her to
You-
death.
you brought her up
and
on
I,
the
like,
show
every
before.
single time, I'm like, I just feel. Every single time I see her, I'm
Why
like,
can't it be like
feel so
Jessica or like Samantha
yeah,
as
I feel
like,
like it's
an uptight white woman?
yeah. I feel like it should be like a Candy.
Desiree.
Yeah, we were going.
Isn't the male equivalents to the Karen the Chad?
I think yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
Chad.
okay.
No,
Oh,
Chad's the
that's-
kind of guy that does like CrossFit and wears an awful lot of Axe body spray.
But what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
That stuff wears out so quick. I tried it back in high school. It's not worth it.
The CrossFit or the Axe body spray, because I find that works amazing.
The act. I tried the CrossFit and it's brutal.
I can't cross. I've never tried. I just watch people. I'm like, well, that's impressive.
I have an injury. Still, I did CrossFit for like 4 months, and I have an injury that still nags me. Well, I can't entirely blame it on
What's
CrossFit.
injured? Your pride
No,
from being so gay? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
but it feels so good.
I'm joking. I've done CrossFit. I'm
Yeah.
joking.
I've
No.
never done CrossFit.
No, I was really strong, really big dude that
Yeah.
did more of the bodybuilding, powerlifting thing, and we talked about having Craig on.
Yeah.
Valletta.
Craig
Yeah, we'll get
Galletti,
him on.
he's a
Yeah.
good dude.
We'll get him
He's a
I
good
like
dude.
Craig.
Yeah, so I was working.
I wish
at-
he would stop cutting off the sweatpants below the knee, though.
You hear that, Craig?
I love it,
Stop
Craig.
cutting your sweatpants
This is
off
a guy
below
from
the
your
knee.
church named Chris. We've met before.
So,
I'm just being funny.
yeah,
Don't take it out on me because he'd beat me up.
he's a giant dude.
He's
now.
humongous. He's a cool dude, though.
Yeah, he's super cool. So I worked at his CrossFit gym for a while, and I was doing some.
You can edit that out.
No, that's fine. Craig's cool. We talk. I've mentioned to Craig to come on. But I was doing like a powerlifting kind of class at his gym for some people because CrossFit's not exactly about how much weight you can lift. It's whatever. And there was a competition, a CrossFit competition coming up, and they had like a team aspect, and he was like, "You should come be on the team, this, that, whatever." And I was like, I thought about, because the wife was doing CrossFit at the time, and I was like, oh, I guess sounds whatever. And the idea of a competition to me, he's like, yeah, let's do a competition. Sounds fun. And he was like, well, you do the competition, like, and we can do this thing, whatever. And so we did an RX competition because they have like scaled versions that are not quite as hard for the people that, don't do much CrossFit. I didn't do that. I was like, yeah, I'll do the actual CrossFit competition. And I was practicing in the gym, and everyone's like, oh, that's that guy. He's like the CrossFit like dude for the gym.
Referring to you?
No, not me. No. So there's some other and then I realized I'm working out beside this guy, and we were doing strict presses.
Yeah.
And that's something I didn't do a whole lot of.
True.
But me as being a strong dude, I was like, well, I have to beat this like CrossFit dude. And I did. I just ended up pulling a muscle on the back of my neck doing it. And it like shifted my vertebrae just enough to where it's never been the same, and I've never got it fixed. So now like every once in a while, like
Sounds
I'll
like-
tweak something.
Isn't that
Sounds
like
like
a
even though you won, you didn't win.
exactly?
Isn't that kind of the stereotypical CrossFit? Like I've heard a lot of like stories. Like I did CrossFit, and I've never been able to like take a dump the right way ever since. Or like I've never been able to stand up quite straight enough. Or I
Yeah,
did
well,
like
I think that's-
too many burpees and
Right, because people did the exact same thing I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that like they go in there and they're day one trying to do muscle ups?
Are you guys super competitive people? Because I wouldn't think that you are.
No, I'm not necessarily super competitive, but I like to be like I don't get upset if someone beats me.
Right.
Especially nowadays. Like I'm okay. Like I'd rather be. I don't want to be like kind of like we talked about. Like I don't want to be the dumbest person in the room.
but you don't want to be the smartest.
I don't. Yeah, like
Yeah, no, I get you.
I'd rather like I want to surround myself with people that are a little smarter, a little stronger, a little this, that, whatever, so I can learn from them now.
There's that quote: "If you're the smartest person in the room, you're hanging out with the wrong people." That's a
Right.
bad quote, but that's a true quote.
Yeah, but it's kind of the idea. But like so,
Are
like
you?
If you're not first, you're last.
yeah, I don't mind losing, but I don't want to lose. So
We don't need to talk anymore.
I like competition as long as it's healthy.
Okay,
So,
I appreciate that.
and kind of going back to what you were saying, man. I know you can't change people, but I think that's where a good CrossFit coach comes into. So, like, I think there's some fantastic components of CrossFit. People have lost
Absolutely.
tons of weight. It's just sometimes when you take these very intricate exercises that it takes multiple years to perfect, like a snatch,
you can't do it in 2 months.
and you can't do it in that many repetitions without injuring something.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, it's fantastic. I think that's where the coach comes into play and says, "Hey, you're losing form. you need to stop.
Right. Or lower the weight. Or,
Yep,
hey, that's
yep.
not, we don't do that exercise yet because you don't know how to do this, that, whatever.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, for sure. There's a lot of that I think happens, or at least used to happen in CrossFit. Where I think that's where it got a
I think
bad
it's
name.
changed. Yeah,
I
I think
do
it's,
too.
it's
Yeah, I
definitely
think people are
morphed over the
realizing,
last
like-
10 years of its popularity because that seems to be kind of the lifespan for it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a trending to go away, but it has not.
I don't think
gone
it will,
away.
'cause
I don't
when
think
they-
it will either.
Yeah, well, I think they say, like,
functional
the-
strength is like the thing.
Yeah, when they say like the fittest people on earth, like when you take those.
They're talking about Chris Doohan.
Well, yeah, naturally. Obviously, we can see that. But you know,
I
they're
don't have a
talking.
competitive bone in my body. I cannot like care less. I've been in like bicycle races. Like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm last.
Yeah, I'm having a great time. Guys. That's all. Yeah, I think that's what it is keeping, you know, your borders and expectations in line with like these people watch like if you watch the CrossFit competitions,
It's bonkers.
it's insane.
And
there's
to run
even
like
things-
20 miles and then lift like billions of weights and climb this wall with.
Yeah, and then
those
climb the
stick
rope
things.
with no feet and do
Yeah.
all these things. Like those people are crazy. Like stop. If you think you're going to go into a CrossFit gym and get that in a year,
Yeah.
knock it off. Just stop. Like you don't need to do that.
So I think like back in the day, there was a CrossFit gym. It might have been Craig's. I don't remember. But like our church group had like this men's group, and he had like lessons like discounted or something, and everyone was going to it and getting like stacked. And I never went, but it was interesting to hear these dudes who were like, you know, like bodybuilders going to CrossFit and hearing them talk about their gains and all this stuff. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
to
well, it
hear.
can be empowering.
Yeah,
especially
no, it
with someone
totally
that,
was,
like,
yeah.
if no one's ever like done sports, or if they have that kind of gene in them that like wants to compete, like because even the CrossFit, it is kind of a competition even through practice because it's timed and like
Right.
different things. Like so, I guess I see where it comes in, but yeah, like take someone off the street, like you don't need to be doing a full snatch.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like, don't be throwing barbells over your head. That's a terrible idea. When you can't even, like, do a push-up or, like, reach up and, like, close your curtains without pulling a muscle, you don't need to be doing snatches.
Because you look online, like YouTube and Instagram, you see these people, like, doing these, like that does not look safe. And they're just, like, whipping these, like, hundreds of pounds above their head or whatever. And
Well, at the same time, like, you look at going to the extremes, like baseball players. Like, you know how many baseball pitchers get Tommy John surgery?
immediately.
So many of them. That's
Yeah.
because when you watch the slow-mo, like, their elbows, like, bending backwards at, like, 180 degrees. You're like,
Yeah, but let me ask you this: how many millions of dollars are CrossFitters making?
This is a good point.
I'll take baseball.
all day long.
yeah.
Remember that movie with the kid, like, busted his arm and he became, like, a professional baseball?
Major League.
Yeah. No.
Oh, funky butt
Oh
loving.
no! I know
Did
what
you
you're
just say
talking about. I know what
funky
you're
butt loving?
talking about. I know what you're talking about. Not Major League. Yeah.
Wasn't that it?
No. There's a little boy broke his arm.
I know exactly
And
what
he
you're talking
had,
about.
like, this,
Yeah,
like,
and he
wicked
throws these
fastball.
fastballs that are crazy.
Yeah, it was the funky butt loving quote.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
No,
What movie is
dude.
that?
It was.
Yes, it was. I swear.
That's CrossFit damage. No, just kidding. I like all my CrossFit friends.
Or it was something like
It's like
So there's
Major
what?
League, but it's
There was
not.
Major League, A League of Their Own, Sandlot, and then there was this movie.
No, yeah. But he like
yeah.
Did he play
Rookie
with
of the Year.
the Twins? Is that who he played for? Was the
Yeah.
Twins?
Yeah. Did he just say funky butt loving? Yeah.
That's a fun movie.
Dude, yeah.
That movie's
1993.
super duper old.
I think we need to hear it, bro.
We
Give it
do.
up.
Play it. Let's hear it, guys. We should sign a petition of a remake of Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but you look back at that now, like 1993, like they were allowed to say funky butt loving.
I watched True Lies last night for the first time in like 20 years or whatever.
It's a,
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Arnold
Jamie Lee Curtis.
hold on.
I don't think this is the
Who's the good looking Asian chick in there?
You know what? I was wondering that myself, and I
Tia
never,
Carrera.
Yeah, I would like to see that remade because there's. One more time. Can I talk through it?
I told you.
This
Here
immediately-
comes a remix after that. Did he say funky butt loving?
So, do you guys know the band Finger 11? Like they had like a big thing.
Yeah, for
Before
the
they
short-
were Finger 11, they were called Rainbow Colored Butt Monkeys.
What?
It's not a joke.
That's kind of like
Which is a better band name than Finger 11.
well, that's kind of like was it Green Jello and Green Jelly? Did you ever listen to them?
I did.
What was it? The Three Little Pigs and all that.
It was okay. So that's a super group.
Was it?
It was.
It had to be because they were so good, but they were so ridiculous. That's what was.
Primus is in it. The whatever his name
Yes,
is, and James Hetfield from Metallica is in it.
I
Double
never
check
looked it
that,
up.
Jamie. Look it up.
Did you say Primus?
Yeah, I can't. Dude, Les
Primus-
Claypool. Les Claypool
is a phenomenal.
You mean like
Bassist.
My name is Mud.
was
My
Primus?
name is
Mama had a big brown beaver,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
she stuck it up in the air.
Yeah, Jerry was a race car driver. Yeah.
Mr. Buckethead.
Oh, they have like that makes so much more sense now because
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And I didn't know
always
James
thought-
Hetfield was in it because he's so pro Metallica all the time, always. But someone told me he was in that band.
Well, I always thought too, where like I'd hear them because I heard them when I was little, like when I probably shouldn't have been listening to them because like my dad played them,
No, dude, I'm with you. We were all like
and it was like
pre-teens when you heard Primus. You're like, I want this more.
well, yeah, but that and
My
like
12-year-old
and Green
brain.
Jelly, like you hear some of the stuff they're saying, you're like, I should not be listen. I am not old enough to listen to this.
Green Jelly only had one song though.
No, they did. They had a couple of songs.
They had a good record, but they only had one song.
Right now, okay, I'll agree with you. But I always thought like, wow, like these dudes are.
They're better than they ought to have been.
Yeah, and I'm like, these guys could have been like these guys could have been a really good band. Like, what? Why were they just a bunch of rich kids that like just said screw? Kind of like, no, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But like,
Blink 182. Sorry. Okay, back to your weird stuff. Blink 182. Do you know? Are you familiar with the Stars Academy? You should look that up because the dude who sings for Blink 182 quit the band and started this like space alien
is it
research
Tom
group.
guy?
Tom DeLonge
Tom DeLonge, yeah.
started the Stars Academy.
So Green Jelly included drummer Danny Carey, went on to be the drummer in Tool.
Yeah,
And
he probably was in Tool at that point.
I can't
No,
see
maybe
I
not.
don't see- No, I said that went on to be the drummer of Tool. Well, it's like they were just
Wow, they had a lot of records.
I'm trying to see where these. I just want to see the members.
Do you support Wikipedia?
I don't. That's why they're telling me to support Wikipedia.
I don't know if I could. Morally.
I remember hearing Maynard James Keenan in one of
Sure.
their songs. So he was in Three Little
Adam
Pigs.
Jones.
May-
See, there's so many rumors of these like
They were so weird. It was such an odd thing in the sun.
Yeah.
Like the music they were singing was so off the wall, and it was like, wow, these. Like when you just listen to the song, if you weren't like really paying attention to it, if it's on the background, you're like, oh, that. But like these guys are a good band.
yeah.
But then you listen to like, what are they doing?
You know, a really good band that was like that. That was like it shouldn't have been that good, but was a
Nickelback.
yeah Nickelback. Nickelback and Three Doors Down are my favorite.
Tony's already pissed off.
Oh my gosh, I can't think of what they're called. The guy the guy that started the band or was a member of the band was a guitar player for Limp Bizkit. And he had this side gig, which was beyond. I used to have it.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It was like, and they had a song called like "Chewing Glass" and "Kicking Ass."
Oh, that's a terrible
And
name.
I can't think of, but like I mean, Limp Bizkit is terrible, but that album was so unique and fun to listen to. That
West Borland.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
West
it was
Borland,
his
yeah.
it was his band.
He's an incredible guitarist.
Yeah, whatever. It was his side gig. I can't think what it was
King
called.
Kong?
No, I'll know it as soon as I see it. It's a fun record. Like it's got like he goes. It's like so many different genres mixed into like his
Big
like,
Dumb Face?
Yep, that's it.
Dude, that is quite the costume he's
big
wearing there.
big dumb
Yeah,
face, and the
he's a,
record's called like their first album's like Luke something meets the fire. I don't know, but it's a blast to listen to.
Well,
if
he
you ever
used
get
to
a
wear those like
chance.
black. He
Yeah.
was like one of the. I think he's like the first dude or first person to really make like the black contacts like a cool thing.
Oh yeah, he was one of those like 90s, early
Yeah, I mean,
2000s
I feel
celebrities.
like was it like Mushroom Head really took off with like, just a weird costume. It was no different than what like the 70s and
Same
'80s.
thing, dude.
When the they
It's
just- they
essentially
used just to come
disco
out
with
and-
metal.
Yeah, they used to just come out dressed up in high heels and whatever.
What
they
a
just
weird
changed
last
the
name.
makeup.
Loudon or Luden? What kind of music do you guys listen to these days, other than the White Buffalo? Are you like metalheads or?
I listen to just about anything, but tell you what, Zach Bryan, man.
I gotta listen to this back, Brian. I've never heard of
Zach Bryan and the White Buffalo they're just raw.
Yeah,
And
they're super raw, and they're not like crazy mainstream at this point.
No, they're not.
I think Zach Bryan will probably head that way. I don't think the White Buffalo will ever go that
Yeah,
way.
but I don't know either because Zach Bryan. So Zach Bryan was
I hope not.
I think he's a EOD.
EOD?
Guy. Or
Jesus, dude.
electronic. Okay.
No,
Explosive ordnance disposal.
Yeah, he's
What?
a Navy.
Say that again?
Yeah, he's a Navy guy. He's,
Oh,
Explosive ordnance disposal.
okay.
yeah, I think I'm almost positive he's an EOD. He's something like that.
That wouldn't surprise me. Like those guys have some crazy, like brain, like the way they think. Man, I've got a buddy that EOD. His name's Dallas Bozeman, and I remember sitting in a movie theater one time, waiting for a movie, and there were a bunch of anagrams, and dude, he solved every single one of them in like 3 seconds.
Holy smokes!
I was like, dude, how can you do that? And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm not terrible at them. I'm like, but dude, trying to take the letters and form the word. And he's like, oh, I just immediately like see the word. And I was like, okay.
Wow, that's bonkers.
yeah,
Have you ever heard of Billy Strings?
I feel like I have.
Dust
I
in a
don't-
Baggie. Oh, that one song.
Yeah.
That dude can.
I would say that sounds super
we
familiar.
yeah, dude, he's a phenomenal guitar player.
I have never.
He
It's
kills
been a
it.
long time since
He's
I've seen him
like
pick
sitting
up
in
a
a trailer
guitar
with his buddies, and he
Yeah.
just crushes it.
and just like his fingers are moving 100
Yeah.
miles an hour. I can't get over it.
Yeah, so I couldn't find anything about it necessarily exactly, but he was in the Navy for 6 years. I think he's doing Army National Guard service now. I think maybe that's why he's been more active, Zach Bryan. But yeah, he was like a Navy dude. Just
That's cool as heck.
and like, dude, if you listen to his lyrics at first sound super simple, but when you really start putting together, like his mom died of, I don't know if it was it cancer or something like that.
you should
But
get him on
think
the
so.
podcast.
I wish his wife is from here. He just got married.
God, you never know, man.
Dude,
He
all you
seems
have to do
down
is
earth enough.
ask.
Yeah, dude, they're just super like if you listen to his lyrics, you're like, I feel like that's a dude. And I've seen people comment on his YouTube stuff that said, oh yeah, like I served with him here, or I went through this camp, or I went through this school with him. Like literally one of the best people you'll ever meet in your entire life.
Dude.
And that's what the vibe you get from him.
Yeah, I believe that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just that Americana vibe.
Zach, I'll write these down.
Yeah, I mean you can. Yeah, Zach Bryan. You can listen.
or Brian?
Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, we played one of his songs on the beginning of
Yeah,
"Get Busy Living" or "Get Busy Dying." I think
I think so.
I think that
That's
was
what that song is.
was
I
it
did not know that.
episode
like 5 or 6, right?
7? I think it was.
No, I think it was like 8 or 9.
I don't know.
7, 8, or 9.
Yeah, we didn't do it any justice. But like you listen to him, he's not a great guitar player. He's not a great singer, but he just makes it all mesh so well that it's like, oh, this dude's just real.
So I wouldn't say not a great, but and I know what you're saying.
Right.
Is
I know
it
what
a
you're getting at, but I
modest
want to
guitar
qualify it.
player?
Yeah.
I think he's great in his own rights because of like everything he brings in. Because
Yeah,
of the
like-
conviction, because of the stories.
Yeah, and his tempo is different from most
It
people.
is, it is.
So like he has his own style, but he's not like a, oh my god.
He's not a
this-
Clapton. He's not a Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah,
he's
it's
You
not like,
want
his
that?
guitar
Like,
playing.
that is kind of overdone. Like you want someone who can speak through the guitar, can speak through, or they can speak through the guitar.
Yeah, and that's what, but you like hear his recordings, and you can hear like if you're a musician, and you kind of understand the guitar a little bit, you can listen to his stuff and go, oh, okay, he's kind of fumbling with that a little bit. But to me, it's endearing.
No,
It's
I like hearing like the like poor fingering posture.
Yeah, and, like-
the muting and the scratching of the pick. That dobro in your living room. Do you play that?
I mean,
I
I
want
play
it.
it.
I want a dobro.
I play with
super
it.
duper bad.
I got a super good deal on it when
I was hoping you were telling me you made it.
no.
You should make it. You should
No,
make a guitar.
it's
I bet Tony can make a guitar right now.
it's just
I doubt it.
Just
whip it together.
piece of no. I'm
Hey, no. When you're in Nashville eating those chicken wings, check out Batson Guitars.
okay.
So Trace is good friends with one of the owners of Batson Guitars. Have you ever seen those guitars?
I have not.
Dude, look them up. You'll like them.
What's
Batson, Batsen, I think.
Do you still have your Alvarez?
I think it's Ian. Is it Owen?
I never had an Alvarez.
You had an Alvarez way
there you
back
go.
before you had your Martin
No, did I?
acoustic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Are you a string plicker
Yeah,
or plucker?
little
he
bit.
has his
What
own
do you
little-
play?
Oh, it's what is that thing? A 110 GB, a
I
Taylor.
don't know.
Nice.
Is this it? That's in
There
guitar.
was something that our
boy.
buddy had, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna get rid of it." And I was like, "I'll buy it." It was
Nice.
like hey, $400 or something. I
Nice.
was like,
That's
sweet.
Taylors are sweet. So are the Martin.
Yeah, the Martin that I got. That's a cool, funny story because I've always been a Taylor fan.
Did you have a Taylor for a little?
Did not.
No.
I always wanted to
Because
buy a Taylor.
I swear you had an Alvarez or a Samick or something.
No,
back
I
in
had
the
a Samick.
Okay.
I have a Samick. I still have that hanging up in
Check
the
out
living
the
room.
sound hole, by the way, where it's at.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
that's pretty.
See it?
That's cool
That's
as
really
heck.
neat. Like I can't imagine what that sounds like. Having the sound hole like up on top like that. That's super cool.
It's like a whale.
The blowhole.
Yeah, the blow. It is. It's like a blowhole. Yeah, Batson. Yeah, that's cool. That's super neat.
Awesome. And that's Maine, Tennis, Nashville.
Yeah, I think it's in
You know,
Nashville. We're outside.
Here's a
of
crazy story. I have a friend who I grew up with as a kid from Fredericton, New Brunswick, who is a chiropractor in Nashville.
Nashville. Nice.
Yeah.
The 23 degrees of Kevin Bacon, or is that
Yeah,
what you're
I've-
doing
no,
to me right now?
Dude, I've got a buddy that owns, or he's a brewmaster at 2 breweries down there too. So
Really?
if you head
That's
down there,
super
man,
cool.
yeah, Southern
I'm down.
Southern Grist,
Southern Grist Brewery.
yeah.
Like, I know Tony.
I
Dude,
got
we're
like a
just
whole,
plugging
I got
away.
like a whole weekend
I know,
vacation
I know.
planned in
I
Nashville
know,
right
you'll
now.
love it,
Boys, I
man.
think it's
You'll
time to
love
go.
Yeah, sign it up. Yeah, so that Martin that I have, so I was just on Craigslist one day when that was still a cool thing to do. And I was
You were really looking for personals, weren't you?
dude, some of those are like
They're gone.
The
gone.
I know, I heard about that.
It's
Well, I used-
disappointing.
it is. I used to go on there in the and get into the missed, like the missed opportunities.
Oh yeah,
Oh my god, that used to be and that I feel bad for kids these days that'll never be able to read the missed connections.
Right.
I saw you in the Walmart. In the Walmarts, you had Daffy Duck pajama pants.
There's nothing better than a Craigslist wormhole.
It's so good. But yeah, so
That's like a decade of debauchery
Yeah.
available at your fingertips.
that's so good.
You can buy a bicycle, a guitar, or just be super gross. Or get a job
Or get a job
Oh
and do
my
all
God.
three.
in one night. 1 night. 1 hour even.
But yeah, I saw the guitar and it was like brand new in the college and it was like, hey, like it was a college kid that needed to buy books or pay his bills or whatever.
Buy drugs.
Yeah, whatever it was. I didn't care. I wasn't judging. But he's like, I need to sell this guitar. Like, and it was like a $1,300 guitar.
Is it a mini dread? Or?
And he was, yeah, it's a, well, no, it's a orchestra. So it's, yeah. So I was like, okay, like, I'm like, well, that's like a $1,300 guitar. And he was asking like 11 for it. He said, brand new, literally got it like a month ago. And I go, I sent him a message. You go, I'll give you 600 for it. Like just being a dick. And he goes, okay.
holy
So he
smokes.
totally needed drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, and so I was like, all right, this thing's
Like,
fine.
damn it, I got to come up with
Yeah.
600.
No, I had 600.
Just playing.
But I was like,
He had to sell those drugs first.
yeah, I had to sell the drugs to him in order to buy the guitar from him. Yeah, and I showed up and I opened this thing, not a scratch on it. And I'm like, this.
But isn't that like picture you guys' like band or whatever?
Well, no, yeah, I put that on there.
Oh, I know. I'm just
Yeah.
asking. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
so I put that on there. And then I drilled a hole through the bottom of it because
Why?
there's an input. I put an
Oh.
input in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I put an
I
electric
thought
input
Rick,
in it.
I thought Rick was gonna faint when you did that.
Yeah, like I told him, I was like, yeah, I got this thing. I think I'm going to do this. He was like, you're
Why
going
didn't
to
you?
put a
Why
hole
didn't you
in
just
that?
put one of those weird, goofy pickups like I have on?
Because
there?
well,
Because it's not cool?
I was looking through all of them, and just the sound just didn't seem like it.
Right, it sounds electric.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like
No, I get
this
it.
this one has a microphone and a magnetic pickup, both.
Is Rick the dude who
So you
you
can
had on
adjust.
with Paul?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was on the first couple. We played like
Oh yeah.
we played guitar and stuff with him, and I told him that like I was going to do that, and I drilled a hole through the basement. He's like, I don't know how you have that much guts to be able to drill a hole through that guitar. And I was like,
You're just so confident.
I was like,
Fred.
whatever. I was like, well, no, it was like I got it for $600, like whatever.
That's a big chunk of change, bro.
Not when it should be worth $1,300.
But I mean,
It's
you
half.
could buy a Samick for $200.
Yeah, but it sounds really well. Then I started playing it, and then I was like, wow, like maybe this is why Martins have such a good name.
Do you still have the electric guitar, that white one?
The Pantera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's dope.
I do. It's right in that room. And then I also have my my original Venturas of the Hummingbird.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was a copy of the not electric of Elvis's Gibson
Yeah.
Hummingbird.
That's
I
a
still
sweet
got
guitar.
that too. Yeah.
Do you still have that cool like pedal thingy with all the effects?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I haven't used it very often.
I got rid of almost everything but my whammy pedal.
Well, you can't get
You
rid
can't
of
get rid of a
whammy.
whammy pedal.
Such a fun time.
I instantly become Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, except without the Harvard education or the guitar skills.
All the skills. Mostly rap skills, but you know.
Oh, I got those. I still
Do you
have-
ever listen to Tom Morello's acoustic music? This is a Night Watchman.
I haven't. I've heard it.
Pretty good.
I've heard of it. Like,
It's pretty good. It's like he's really going for like a Bruce Springsteen, like
Really?
Pete Seeger kind of like bring down the government with my guitar and harmonica. It's dope, but it's hip hoppy. It's like, you know, he's definitely got
well, did
that.
you ever listen to what was it that they teamed up with?
Type in Bruce
rap
Springsteen
guys.
and Tom Morello. Oh, Chuck D and all them.
Yeah,
That's
what
hard.
was?
Yeah, but Tom Morello and Bruce Springsteen doing "The Highway Is Alive Again" is amazing.
Oh, they do Tom Joad too.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
Tom, it goes to Tom Joad.
but with Bruce Springsteen, it is. I don't
bet
know,
that's
but
interesting,
the duality of the two together
I bet
makes
that's
me
a-
super happy.
I bet that would
Because
be
Tom Morello is Tom Morello and Bruce Springsteen's like Grandpa Bruce.
Grandpa Bruce.
Although if you go to Bruce Springsteen and Neil Young, that's even more extreme.
I feel like they're both grandpas.
No,
though.
no. Neil Young is like Grandpa on speed, just headbanging and just riffing like it's his last day on earth, and Bruce is trying to keep up, and you can tell that Bruce is like,
Just doesn't have the chops.
and Neil's like, you know, just being Neil Young, he's everywhere at one time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's entertaining if you ever have time, but it's a cool song. But
Yeah, I'll
You know,
check it
Tom
out. We
Morello-
can't play
yeah.
it here.
No,
because
I
we'll
understand,
We'll get
yeah.
taken off.
And if
we
you
already
want-
did that
and-
once with the.
are you serious?
The Machine Gun Kelly. Well, it doesn't get taken off, but if like
it gets flagged or
it does, like that one episode for the Unity 2021.
Did it
we
get
had
flagged?
Yeah. Oh,
Did it?
instantly. The Kid Rock and Machine Gun Kelly song.
I remember
We
you
played it
telling
just
me
for a
that.
little snippet, and instantly when I uploaded it to YouTube, they're like, demonetized. This song has copyright to it. Boom. And it was like, oh, like that's a good algorithm. They did a good job.
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
a ridiculous algorithm.
Yeah, it was the second it got uploaded. They're like,
really
yeah, no, can't advertise on this one. Sorry.
interesting.
It's like, oh, I mean, not that we can
Yet.
get monetization.
Yet.
Anyways, yeah. I mean, if anybody out there
great
listening,
a great
you
YouTube
wanna-
video.
you want to advertise on this shit show?
There's a
Please
great
feel
video
welcome.
of
I'll
Pearl
advertise
Jam of Pearl Jam and Neil Young, which is like 14 minutes long jam sesh.
Jeez.
Dude, it is a blast. Like it's keep on rocking on the free world. Turn up to 11 and just let it happen. It is
Okay.
you will. It is a straight up blast. I'm not even joking.
Oh.
And Neil comes out. You know, he's on. He just walks out. You don't even see him, and all of a sudden he's like doing this like cocaine fevered jam sesh. It is grand.
I believe that.
It is grand. He's like 102.
I believe
Why?
that. I gotta step out for a second.
Yeah,
You
dude,
can-
I actually have
now's
to,
the time you can ask Tony all those questions you asked him earlier.
Dude, I've got to go, bro.
Oh, you
Oh,
gotta
it's
get it
it's 6
out?
o'clock
I
at
do.
night. We've been here for
I
four
do,
freaking.
I
I'm
do.
so sorry.
No, you're fine. I love it, man. I just there's
I
an air and a half
enjoy
to
your-
run.
Yeah, well, I didn't
company.
realize what time it
So,
was.
no,
Yeah,
it's fine.
We can wrap it up. We can wrap it up if you gotta go.
I appreciate you guys letting me come and talk
Hey.
Oh,
to
I
you.
appreciate you coming on.
I will come anytime that you are willing to have me. You may not want me back because I'm not that interesting, but
I mean,
Dude, I had a blast on this one, man.
I mean, we have over
It was
3
an
hours
absolute
recorded,
blast.
and we've been here for much longer than that.
yes.
No.
So it's been a fantastic
Yeah.
time. And maybe next time we'll get to my Graham Hancock pyramids and ancient civilizations deep dive that we never actually got to.
I actually.
We touched on some of the stuff
Yeah,
that you've
we
been wanting to
did.
touch
What are
on.
your thoughts on numerology by Randall Carlson? Because that's what his big thing is.
Numerology.
The geography and geology, or
Oh, you're
yeah,
talking about the asteroid impacts and
but he's got math equations that add all this
About
shit
the
up.
72 and the
oh, you're talking about not the solstice, how when the Earth tilts on every
I
72
don't know.
years,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that. We can dig that. Well, maybe we can plan another day and dig into that because to me that's super interesting because it changes the way, not because it's the catastrophes and floods but it changes the way we look at history.
Right. And we never even got to take ayahuasca and go to the spirit
I know.
plane.
We had it sitting there waiting for us.
I know.
And,
Yeah. Yeah, but that to me, that's the crazy part, is it can change the way we really look at our own history as humans and what came before us, and the stories like the floods and different things that different cultures have talked about throughout history. And
Cool.
we will. I want to talk about
No,
that
let's
because
do it
it's super
sometime.
interesting.
Let's do it sometime.
Fantastic,
Cool.
Mr. Doohan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your time. Sorry, guys. I yammered on like a